Queens. Mom's cooking chicken and collard greens. Rice and stuffing, macaroni and cheese. And Santa put gifts under Christmas trees. Decorate the house with lights at night. Snow's on the ground, snow white so bright. In the fireplace is the Yule log. Beneath the mistletoe as we drink eggnog. The rhymes that you hear are the rhymes of carols. Like each and every year we bust Christmas carols. Christmas carols.
Yo, come on, let's step. You ain't get the man from last night? Santa, Macy's.
Yo, man, let's go eat, man. I'm starving.
Come on, man. Yo.
Rhyme so loud and proud you hear it. It's Christmas time and we got the spirit. Jack was chilling, the hawk is out, and that's what Christmas is all about. The time is now, the place is here, and the whole wide world is filled with cheer. My name's DMC with the mic in my hand, and I'm chilling and cooling just like a snowman. So open your eyes, lend us an ear. We want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year!
Giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We are streaming live on YouTube, and of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker. Still, boom. Got a little snow in Texas. Nah, we really don't. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, I should say. Got a nice little show lined up for you. Coming up today, we got our guy Patrick No C Walker coming through to break down this game with us. Take us inside the whole CeeDee Lamb shutting it down thing. Okay? We're going to figure out what led to that decision. Plus we'll see who may or may not be suiting up for this Eagles game. And Mike's future is a little murky. Yeah, a little murky. And no one seems to be talking about this. And you know I throw a curveball at y'all. I'm taking the snow right here that's falling, and I'm throwing a curveball at you. No one seems to be talking about this, but we will. So stick around for that. I've got some thoughts on it. But good morning and Merry Christmas, Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad!
How was everybody's holidays and still going on, right? We got New Year's next week. Some folks are still off. Usually when I worked, in the office back in the day, I would take a couple days and try to piece them together so I can only use like 3 or 4 days and have like 10 days off. I don't know if you guys are doing that right now, but I didn't necessarily do that this year, but I did take 3 days out of the holiday and I wasn't with you guys. But I'm back on this Friday, and we're going to break everything down. I hope y'all had a great holiday, a great Christmas with the family. And Cowboys related, there were some things, some things that went down over the last few days. And we are going to get into all of those today, as well as preview this Eagles game. And again, if you guys want to call into the show after we wrap to our guy, Patrick No C Walker, you can at 351-999-3787. And without further ado, let's get into the scientific method. Good morning and Merry Christmas, my good brother, Patrick No C Walker. What's up with you, bro?
Hey, man, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, all of that, man. Kwanzaa, Festivus, whole situation, man. What's up, everybody?
Man, I feel good. This little break I had, so I got all this energy, and I'm wondering if the Cowboys are going to continue to play, or let me do this, continue to have the audacity to play the Grinch this week.
I need that. I need that big hater energy. I'm in my
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar bag, man. I'm big hater energy, man. I need Grit Season to finish this out, and they finished the Bucks off. So
Yeah.
now it's 1 down, 2 to go. Here come the Philadelphia Eagles, and this one will be that much sweeter for a lot of reasons. Number one,
yeah.
it's the Eagles. Number two, it prevents a season sweep that they get to brag about. And number three, it could very well cost them the number 1 seed in the NFC, which means they wouldn't be able to rest their starters in the finale, and that would make their path in the playoffs much more difficult. So, Cowboys, if you're listening, I just need you to rinse and repeat. It's going to be more difficult this time around with CeeDee Lamb out on the field. But yeah, I mean, they've been finding ways. So do it again. Find a way. Let's
start right there. You brought it up with CeeDee Lamb, and we got all the not the reports, but I guess the reports, the breaking news, and notifications yesterday that CeeDee Lamb was shutting this thing down. And I had tweeted, you kind of saw this coming because how much more could Lamb really take on that shoulder, given that the season is it's pretty much lost in the sense of the playoffs. And he hit these marks that I think were important to him, if we're being honest, right? 100 catches, 1,000 yards. And you reported, along with many others, that they shut it down. So can you kind of take us inside that decision? Was this Lamb's decision? Was this the Cowboys? Was this a combination? How did we get here?
It wasn't Lamb's decision in the realm of, him approaching the Cowboys medical staff and coaching staff and saying, you know what, I think it's time for me to go ahead and just call it the season. It definitely was not that. I'm told that he wanted to play against the Philadelphia Eagles. It's the team that shut him down, and it's because the most recent round of scans and examinations that happened earlier this week showed that it actually has progressed and gotten a bit worse. And now, and I said this on Twitter, I want to say after the game, I was talking to one of the fans in Cowboys Nation and kind of chuckled to myself and trying to let everybody know that, hey, do you really think that the Cowboys would let CeeDee Lamb continue if they thought it jeopardized the 2025 season? And not a few days later, they proved me right in that, it got to a point where they were like, hey, wait a minute. Okay, now we're not where we were 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago or even going into the Buccaneers game. Now we really have to shut you down. So it was an organizational decision, and it was an athletic training staff decision, not CeeDee Lamb. So I found that Mike McCarthy said something very interesting on his early morning show with Bobby and RJ, in that this actually isn't tied to them being eliminated from the playoffs. McCarthy said that if this were week 3, the same decision would apply, and that tells you where the shoulder is right now. Yeah, that tells you where the shoulder is. So kudos and roses and all the credit to CeeDee Lamb for proving his haters wrong, and anyone that called him soft and he's not the right kind of a leader, and all of that stuff has been put to bed, which really still, I think that's why CeeDee Lamb was pushing through, because he heard all the noise, he heard all the chatter about how he's a diva and he's this and he'll never be able to lead the team. And you saw what he was able to do in that aspect without Dak Prescott on the field, playing through that shoulder injury, and talking to him after the game against the Buccaneers. I mean, he couldn't even move the arm. He was sitting there. Go back and watch that video on YouTube and on the .com and notice that he's not moving his right arm at all. He's holding it chicken wing style, but he's not moving it. So yeah, we're done with CeeDee Lamb for 2024, but no surgery is expected at this time. So it hasn't gotten to that point, and they don't want to get it to that point.
You mentioned something about like the leadership, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if it was one of your shows, I don't know if it was a podcast or I can't remember, but I thought I heard you mention something about Jalen Tolbert and the finger, and how Tolbert.
Oh my God!
Yeah, which by the way, if y'all know, Jalen Tolbert's finger injury was just nasty in general. But what I'm getting at is, you mentioned something along the lines of, Tolbert's watching CeeDee Lamb play through this messed up shoulder, and he was like, nah, man, push this thing back in, stitch it up, wrap it up, and get back out there. And that goes to show you, because of watching CeeDee Lamb, and that goes to show you just the impact he's had leadership-wise on these young wide receivers. And now they're going to have a chance to make a statement the last 2 games without him.
Exactly. I'm going to go full Wesley Snipes on Demolition Man. Exactamundo. Okay? But for the people that were like, oh, well, he was fighting through this for meaningless games and what? No, it wasn't meaningless. It meant something. And if you can't understand the levels to what it meant, then that's fine. But the fact that remains that when you talk about a player like Jalen Tolbert, for example, and other young receivers in the room and other players in the locker room that absent DeMarcus Lawrence and absent Dak Prescott and now absent DeMarvion Overshown and some of these other, heartbeats of the team, here's CeeDee Lamb playing through basically having one arm. And that sends a message. And the message is no excuses. Oh, you're eliminated from the playoffs? Who cares? No excuses. You're expected to go out there and give your best and be productive while you're doing that. So when you listen to Jalen Tolbert speak, and Tolbert is sitting there telling me, and if you need more insight on it, go check out the .com. I did a piece on it specifically. Tolbert is saying that Tolbert's finger got caught in the defender's jersey on one of those big plays, that deep right side catch. And it hyperextended to the point where it dislocated completely the pinky. So he goes into the back and took his glove off. Come to find out, it had dislocated so badly that it broke skin. So the bone came out of the skin. They had to pop it back in, stitch it up, put the glove back on, and he went back out to try to play through that. And he's not missed practice this week. He expects to play against Philadelphia. Now, obviously, that'll be up to the athletic training staff if they clear him to do so. But when you talk about the impact of what CeeDee Lamb has been for this team in a season such as this and fighting through what he fought through, it resonates. It resonates. And you can't convince me that this won't carry over to the mentality of 2025. Doesn't matter who the head coach is. It just matters that anyone who is in that locker room that played with CeeDee Lamb during a season like this and saw what he went through, they know in their heart of hearts they have to fight through everything to make sure that they stay available and productive, because the highest paid, or I should say the second highest paid receiver in the league, he didn't check out. He didn't quit. He didn't wave the flag, the white flag. He was out there handling his business. So no excuses, and that's why him playing was not worth nothing, like some people would suggest.
You brought up Jalen Tolbert and the injury, and once again, I feel like every week I say this, lengthy injury report here for the Cowboys with a lot of players that did not practice as late as Thursday. And by the way, the game was moved up to 12 o'clock Central, so not extra few hours for these guys. But who should we be most concerned about on this injury report of those who did not practice, which is Bass, Udoka, Hall, Hooker, obviously Lamb is gone, Nick Vigil, and Donovan Wilson?
Well, Nick Vigil never practices.
Yeah,
he always plays.
He's
so I wouldn't be concerned with him. He's been on his Allen Iverson stuff for like months now.
Facts.
In practice, we talk about practice.
They went out there and balled.
I'm not. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. He's out there making plays, so I'm not concerned about Vigil. I am concerned about Donovan Wilson. I want to keep an eye on Dono. He's back to his playmaking ability, and he's peak Dono right now. I love how Zimmer is putting him in spots where he can do what Dono does as opposed to trying to fit him to a scheme. But Donovan popped up on the injury report yesterday, did not participate with a knee injury, so definitely something to watch, because as the Cowboys start to start to find their groove with taking the ball away, and Donovan being that heat-seeking missile again, and now he's dealing with a knee injury. Cowboys just can't have nice things, so keep an eye on him. Tumi Udoka with the toe injury. What's concerning for me is that obviously he was on IR initially to start the season because of a toe. Haven't had a chance to have the conversation with the training staff, because as you guys may hear, there's some road noise. I'm literally like driving across the country back to Texas right now from holiday time with family. I'm in Alabama right now, and I can just smell the salt in the air from them not making the college play.
Roll Tide. Roll damn Tide.
The poverty, such poverty. Go Dogs. But, so Tumi Udoka, I would have to presume that toe is the same toe that was giving him issues at the beginning of the season, but put a pin in that. We'll see if that's the case as the next couple of days roll along. So for me, it's Donovan Wilson. TJ Bass continues to deal with that thigh injury that kept him out of last week's game. DNP, both practices so far this week, so he's not trending in the right direction. Good thing is you definitely have Brock Hoffman doing work, but if Tumi Udoka and TJ Bass are either limited in what they can do, or both of those guys miss, now you're really dealing with some issues as far as the interior depth is concerned. But good news, though, Eric Kendricks back at practice after missing last week. He was a game-time decision with that calf. Jalen Brooks back at practice. He had a knee injury in practice that cost him the game against the Bucs, but he's back on the field along with Eric Kendricks. So not all bad, And then you got Jordan Lewis. He just being the dog that he is, played through his elbow issue, put the brace on, and still was out there snatching lunch boxes and stuffing guys in lockers. So, yeah, not all bad for the Cowboys as far as the injury report is concerned. Got some guys to keep an eye on, but some positives, Eric Kendricks and Jalen Brooks back on the field.
Speaking of Eric Kendricks, he's the quarterback of the defense for the Cowboys, and they could be going up against a hurtless Philadelphia Eagles offense. So they could be without their starting quarterback for their team, and we'll see what's up with Kenny Pickett. I know he has the rib thing. So kind of your thoughts on this Cowboys surging defense right now, going up against an Eagles team that, is probably pissed off from last week after winning about 9 or 10 in a row, whatever it was, without Hurts. I think, that's a big deal for this defense that didn't play well for 4 quarters the last time they played this team. But this is a different situation now, not having their QB1 in there, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Cowboys at this point, you have zero luxuries. Zero. You've had zero luxuries for a long time now. So I say that to say, Will, it doesn't matter if it's Jalen Hurts or Kenny Pickett or Ian Book at some point in the game, because Pickett's not exactly 100% either. Right. It's a real issue. You got to go in there and you just got to punch him in the mouth as the Cowboys defense. You got to keep punching him in the mouth. You got to take advantage of the fact that Hurts will likely not be on the field in the capacity of maybe Kenny Pickett is going to give you more opportunities to take the ball away than Jalen Hurts would have. Not to say that Jalen Hurts would not have, because he has in the past, not necessarily in the first outing this year, but Kenny Pickett will likely give you more opportunities, so take advantage of those, get the ball when he gives you that shot. Pressure him, because he's going to be more easily rattled than a guy like Jalen Hurts. But, I mean, at the end of the day, that offense is going to run through Saquon Barkley. And if the Cowboys defense can bottle up Saquon the same way they did in the first outing, then they have a fantastic chance of going up to Lincoln Financial and getting the upset win. Now, it's a little bit more difficult without DeMarvion Overshown on the field. He was on the field in the first matchup. But I can't love enough what I'm seeing already from Maris Leofau in the absence of Overshown. Yeah. He had some green dot duties last week against the Bucks. Did exceptionally well in that capacity, and now Eric Kendricks will be back. So Kendricks plus Leofau plus Micah. I mean, those are going to be the guys who are really tasked with getting after Pickett and causing some pressure. But Kendricks and Leofau also got to play sideline to sideline and keep Saquon Barkley behind the line of scrimmage to allow guys like Chauncey Golston, who's having a phenomenal stretch of games, and some of these other guys, Carl Lawson. You saw he did the Tristan Wirfs, just put him through the planet, and before the holidays, no less. Like, God, that man has a family, Carl. Jesus. So, I mean, you got guys that have to step up. So no excuses. I mean, go out there and punch him in the mouth, and just keep punching him in the mouth. Keep in mind, this is an Eagles team that's under a lot of pressure right now. They need this win. The Cowboys don't need this win. Cowboys can play fast, free, loose. It just pin their ears back and go get it. So do that. Go get it. Go take it.
Yeah, I think this defense will play, like you said, fast, free, and loose, and play well, I think, for most of this game, especially if Hurts is not there. They bottled these guys up for 2 quarters, and then the second half, it kind of got away from them last time they played at the crib. But on that flip side, you want to see this offense be so much better than it was against Philly and this Vic Fangio defense. Oh, yeah. And, when you talk about, quarterbacks, whether it be offense or defense, the Cowboys quarterback in Cooper Rush against Philly, we talk about blueprint. It's not great. He has 2 starts against this Eagles defense, 1 touchdown, 4 turnovers, and the last time they played, he threw for 45 American football yards in a full game. I'm not talking about like Canadian yards. I ain't talking about like rugby. Yeah, American. And it was
45
rough.
American.
45 American, brother.
Not great, Bob.
No.
NGB, not great, Bob. Hands down, the worst outing of Cooper Rush's career. Hands down.
Real quick before you go, something to think about here. In 2022, the first time he faced against the Eagles defense as a starter, Vic Fangio was a consultant, and he had 1 touchdown, 3 picks. And then the last, few weeks ago, Vic Fangio is now defensive coordinator. He threw for 45 yards. So Vic Fangio has been a tough out for him.
It has, and I tell you what, in the absence of CeeDee Lamb, it's not going to get any easier. Right. So when you talk about guys having to step up, I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, well, it's Jonathan Mingo's season." maybe, but I don't have a lot of confidence in that situation as of yet. And the situation I'm speaking of is this blatant lack of chemistry and timing between Mingo and Cooper Rush. They just cannot seem to get on the same page. And it's honestly a head scratcher at this point, because it's not as if he's not targeting Mingo, but the throws that are going to Mingo are just not quality throws. And then a couple of times they have miscommunications on the route that was run versus the route that was expected to be run. So for me, until I see something there, there's nothing there. I'm looking at a 2025 for when Jonathan Mingo will likely make the impact. But so that means, okay, we'll see who's up. Give me Kevontae Turpin. Give me a big game from Brandon Cooks. Give me Ryan Flanoy to go out there and cook up some things. Give me, Jalen Brooks, and hopefully he plays, and Tolbert, and we'll see how his pick does this week. But, outside of the Jalen's who are dealing with some injuries, and Mingo can't seem to get on the same page with Cooper Rush, I think that you got to really use Kevontae Turpin to try to stretch the field, even if that's just hitting him with the underneath slant. As long as you hit Kevontae Turpin on a slant with good timing and anticipation, you've seen that he can take that to the crib. So give him those types of plays and a couple deep shots. Ryan Flanoy, you saw him with a couple of impressive catches and runs against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Maybe he's heating up the stove. So those guys are going to have to step up, because replacing CeeDee Lamb is not going to be an easy task. And like you said, you're going against a defensive coordinator who might just have a blueprint against Cooper Rush. So what I will say, and I'll end it on this note, I like that Cooper Rush is getting more comfortable in the aspect of he's starting to take some shots downfield. That's not typically his bag, but he's really starting to take those shots. Are they perfect shots every time? No, but they're just enough that hit for the defense to have to play a little bit back and not be able to pin their ears back. So keep that up. Keep this Philadelphia pass rush and defensive front on their heels, and that's a secondary in Philly that can be had even without CeeDee Lamb.
I'll say this, Pat. Last week for Mike Zimmer, it was a Mike Zimmer game for me. I thought this was a chance for Mike to go up against a really good offense, surging offense, offensive coordinator Liam Cohen that was hot, right? And I'm like, hey, if Mike can have a good game against that guy and that offense, it will stamp that, hey, whether it's here in Dallas or elsewhere, I can still do this thing. I think this week, this is a Mike McCarthy game, right? Going up against a guy who, at least with this quarterback, he hasn't been able to, showcase a good offensive showing. And without CeeDee Lamb, if Mike McCarthy can cook up a game plan that goes out here and I don't even think they necessarily have to win, but if he shows a good showing via offense, I think it'll do Mike a huge favor moving forward, whether, again, it's here in Dallas or it's somewhere else. But this is a Mike McCarthy game. He's going to have to help out not just Cooper Rush, but everybody on that offense without CeeDee Lamb, because CeeDee Lamb was about 90% of the offense over the last few weeks. And when you remove him, it's going to take all hands on deck. And I think the leader is going to have to be Mike McCarthy as opposed to one individual player in this one, Pat.
Yeah, I agree with that completely, and I will add to that in a situation where you don't have Dak and you don't have CeeDee and you don't have Zach Martin, what does this offense look like? Well, we're about to find out. Yeah. And if this offense looks even remotely solid, we're not saying, folks, that we expect them to go out there and drop 40 on the Philadelphia Eagles. I would love for that to happen, because my God, I'd be insufferable. They wouldn't be able to get me off of them on social media. But I'm looking at, if the Cowboys can score 3 touchdowns, not counting what Brandon Aubrey's going to contribute, likely 2 or 3 field goals, then that's a massive win for Mike McCarthy. And like I said, a game that lacks Dak Prescott, lacks CeeDee Lamb, lacks Zach Martin. So it's dealing with likely an injured Jalen Tolbert or maybe an injured Jalen Brooks, Jonathan Mingo, who before this game coming up had 0 catches. So, all of that to say is, if this version of the Cowboys offense can go into Lincoln Financial Field and match serve, even remotely, with a defense, I think, that are going to continue to take the ball away, then, yeah, Mike McCarthy will have sent the message that he is injury-proof, so to speak.
Hey, Pat, now we're going to go in overtime here and talk a little bit about, and you can make this short because I know you're on the road. We're about to be on the road to Royal Rumble, if you know what I'm talking about here. Yeah! And we got Netflix coming up. Was it January 6th? And then we got Monday night Saturday night main event. Then road to road. We got a jam-packed schedule, fam. So we go out to talk. You know, and new wrestling. We go out to get it popping over this next month, bro. I'm excited.
Man, listen, wrestling fans and new wrestling family, we up 1,000. You understand me?
I'm hyped,
we up
ready.
1,000. Yeah, I turned me up, man. Things about to get crazy as the calendar flips to January. So all our wrestling fans, man, make sure you're following and new wrestling, because we're about to turn it all the way up. We turned up in 2024, but to start 25 with the slate that's still just laid on the plate, man, listen. Listen.
I'm excited, bro.
I don't know what to tell them other than what we're telling them, and if they're not hearing what we're telling them, then they better start listening because we try to tell them.
Let me talk to you. It's basically what I was saying.
Let me talk to you.
Listen up, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, bro, appreciate you coming through as always, man. You get home safe, and I'm not sure if there's a presser or something later today, but if there is, I'm pretty sure you'll be on top of it and have everybody tuned in.
Yeah, we got a McCarthy press conference, that conference call at 12:30. But actually, believe it or not, as I keep an eye out for these state troopers, there's an article here coming shortly from your boy on the .com, Mike McCarthy, giving some more insight on why now to shut down CeeDee Lamb. So just be on the lookout for that. Honestly, I mean, the grind is the grind. So I'll probably write this once I stop for gas in the next 20 minutes or so, man. So, yeah, man.
Look at that.
I got to cook. So
my man writing an article while he pumping gas. You the best, brother.
Hey, man. I do it for the people. Holla at me.
All right, bro. That is Patrick No C Walker. Merry Christmas, my boy. Happy New Year. We'll talk to you next week.
Yes, sir.
Shouts out to Pat. Always coming through. Dropping the science. What's the link to Anu? Well, let me go ahead and get that for you. I'll just pull it straight up here on the YouTube, as the boomers would say. Why do boomers always put the between something? The Facebook, the YouTube, the Twitter, and new wrestling. There we go. I'll pull it up for you, man. Hey, appreciate y'all coming through this morning. We're going to get to the phone lines here in a second. Let me get this. Hold on. Let me get this link real quick for you, my boy. It's going to pull up a short, I think, but obviously just, you know what? Nah, here we go. Get rid of that part. Bow. That is our link to the YouTube page, YouTube channel. And we didn't go live last week, or I don't believe the week before, but with football and everything going on, holidays and whatnot, we'll be back tuning up, getting ready, tuning up the band, right? Getting ready for Netflix January 6th, and then a whole bunch more after that. Real quick, let's take a quick break. Come back. We got a couple on the phone line. I want to talk to you a little bit more about the mic and a little bit more, I guess, about this game too.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
In front of the millions
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. Appreciate you, Mike, for subbing to the channel. Again, it's a slow grind over there, but we're building it up. I think, obviously, 2024 was our first year, and it really wasn't a whole year. It was like half the year. 2025 is up from here, man. It's up from here. Who was that just said that? Mitra said, I hope this is Solari's last year. That ain't the mic I'm talking about. But I agree with you. I agree. I do hope this is last year as well. Even though the offensive line has played a little bit better, it's not enough. Let's get to the phone lines real quick, man, and talk to our guy, VIP. Hey, man, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Kwanzaa, all that good stuff, brother, to you and the fam.
Sky, what's good, baby?
What's up?
Yeah, happy Kwanzaa, happy holidays, whatever you're celebrating. And, you know, let me get this off. Let me get this off real quick,
ahead,
Sky,
bro,
because I know a lot of people don't know about me, but I'm a single father, Sky. So I take this single father-ish real serious. I had a Slurpee come on somebody's site yesterday and talk reckless. I just want to shout out my kids because they are my heartbeat. Shout out to the kids. They just got back from a Disney cruise. So shout out to my kids. That's what I'm shouting out right now.
Shout out to
you and
VIP
yours.
kids. Shout out to the little VIPs, man.
So I say that to say this. There's a lot of, I want to call it, Twitter tough guys. Guys that come on here just to get their issue off because they trying to compensate for their lack of strength in their real life. So I don't like to play this internet tough guy because I'm a real G. I'm a real homie. I'm really outside. You can Google me. So I just want to clear the air because there's a lot of guys out here like the Slurpee yesterday, bro. He almost had me crash out and drive to Memphis. This Slurpee got on my voice thing, fucking reckless about my daughter.
Oh,
like,
damn.
Yo, you don't do that. You see, he's not from the streets.
Oh,
so
no,
we don't know. We don't. There's certain things we don't do, man. Bro, so I had to go do research on this clown. I looked up his wife and his kids. I found out his twins ain't his. His wife got acne problem. His wife's got acne problem.
What?
So I said, let me leave this clown alone because I got wolves out here that really will come knock on your door. So I'm listening. If you listen to Slurpee, I'm telling you, Slurp, just breathe easy. Just enjoy this air you're breathing. All right, let me get to my football now.
Yeah, don't crash out on the VIP. I just saw a tweet of an article from some years ago where some dude, he ran down somebody that was talking trash on Kobe and murdered him. So we don't want you to do that, So yeah.
So I know. So see, I have my kids. My kids are my why.
Yeah.
My kids are why I'm walking this earth. My kids are why I'm breathing. So I wouldn't substitute or put anything in the middle of my why. But I do know this: I will crash out 100 times over for my why. So you better be careful. Yo, be loving this air that you're breathing. Be loving this air that you're breathing because it's not guaranteed to anybody. Tomorrow's not guaranteed to none of us. So be careful. I know we clown on here, but there's certain things. There's a temperature that you don't want to turn up. And I'm up. That's why I told this boo. I was like, yo, Google me, bro. Google me. I'm on a Breakfast Club every day. Kid, the G tells me, bro, I'm really that guy. So you talking reckless to a real wolf. I can push a button and have somebody at your door. So cut it out, man. All right, let me get to my Cowboys. Shout out to CeeDee Lamb because CeeDee has proven to me.
Everybody finna be fucking dead, B.
Yeah, B. Yeah, B. You better go. Yo, you better tell him, B. We don't play these type games, man. Don't blow smoke in the chimney. That's all I'm gonna tell, bro. Don't blow smoke in the chimney. All right, let me get to my CeeDee.
Yeah, let me get to my CeeDee. Let me know what you think about CeeDee, bro. I don't want to get you in trouble.
There it is, B. There it is, B. Yeah, get the shovel out, B. All right.
I ain't playing. They all dead. Hey, hey, let's get back to the good side, man. What's going on? What's going on with CeeDee Lamb?
Well, CeeDee, but I think respectfully, what CeeDee did was prove to me that he is one of our leaders. Because you heard people talking reckless. People in here was talking reckless about CeeDee. Oh, he's playing diva. He don't want to go out. Woo, 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 woo. Look at his numbers. Even without his number one quarterback. When Dak fell off the last time, CeeDee still produced.
Yeah.
So I'm just hesitant to some of these Cowboy Nation. Why do we gotta eat our own? Why do we live this cannibalist lifestyle? Why do we want to eat our own? Like CeeDee is one of our guys under contract. They throwing Trey under the bus. Like, come on, B. Let's respectfully respect the process.
Yeah, I think VIP, if I had to guess, and I talked about this before, I think there are angry Cowboy fans, and then there are extremists in the sense that everybody's frustrated. We're all angry and frustrated with the lack of success over the last 3 decades, right? But then there are the extremists who are directing their anger to a specific player or players on the field and don't give a damn about what else. It's just that guy sucks. He's the reason, or this guy isn't that, or that. So the extremists are a loud minority, but they're becoming louder and louder, especially during the season when you're bad. You're going to hear a lot about them because people are going to try to defend said player or players, right? Or coach for that matter. But it becomes tougher to ignore it because you as humans, we have that instinct, right? If we see some BS, we're going to speak up about it. I don't know what else CeeDee Lamb needs to do if people are still questioning whether he's a number one wide receiver. If you want to question when he's out there on the field and he's throwing his hands up and it looks a little diva-ish and things like that, that's fine. But you can't question this man's toughness, and you can no longer question, and I don't know why you would, but you can't question if he's a number one wide receiver. CeeDee Lamb is one of the best, if not, you could argue the best, right? Like, he can legitimately be argued as a top 1, 2, 3 receiver in this league that usually juggles around, every other year, it seems like. And I think the discussion is over. I don't really understand why we need to do this. You talk about eating your own. I think we eat our own because of the frustration, though, VIP.
Yeah, I know, but that's why I come on here, because I love people like my guy Toxic Torm. I love Sadiq. I love like my real fans. So shout out to the real fans out there. I know Toxic hit me like, yo, Lovey, don't crash out. He's like, yo, VIP, don't crash out, man. Don't drive to Memphis. Toxic, I got you, B.
Please don't.
But there's not. But when you're a real G and you really live out here, if you outside for real, there's certain things that you don't jump on.
Yeah.
There's certain things you don't touch. And if you don't want this smoke with me, I'm 6'3", 220. I looked this guy up. He's 5'3". It's like, man, my son is 6 foot tall. So come on, be like, cut it out, man. Cut all this stuff out, because one day somebody will run down on you, and you better hope he don't look like Pop. That's all I'm gonna tell you, bro. If he run down on you looking like Pop,
you ain't lying.
It might be a rap for you.
I said this before, man. Social media has destroyed a lot of fandom. Because the Twitter or the keyboard warriors, you can't have legitimate discourse on social media. And this is why I come here. This is why I don't even get into the banter back and forth as much on Twitter no more. Or at time, I guess Facebook. I don't know if people are still doing that. I definitely don't go on no damn Instagram. But I come here because we can have a legitimate conversation. You can hear my tone and you can know what's going on, because people go so far left on Twitter. It gets wild. Now, apparently this happened on somebody's show, so I guess they can still do the same thing here. But don't let them have you crash out, bro. Like you said, you got a family, you got kids, you got a daughter. You just take that on the chin and keep it moving, because you know who you are, right? You know what you're capable of, and you let them you let them feel big over some damn social media, bro. Like, don't let that get to you, fam.
No, it don't get to me, but what bothers me.
I don't know if VIP you was finna drive to Memphis, dog, and put him next to MLK.
You crossed the line. You crossed that line. No, it's not getting to me. Now you crossed the line. Now it's on.
Yeah.
So if I'm getting to me, I ain't talking about getting to me. When you talk about my firstborn, bro, there's nothing I wouldn't do. There's not. You have to. Maybe you don't. I'm gonna send you a video that Yale University did about my single father war, and see how serious I take this, bro. I don't. It's not a game,
brother. I got 3. I got 3 kids, so I know exactly what you mean. And if somebody speak harm on my child, I feel you, right? So I can't be mad at you for getting upset like that. I just don't want to see you driving across the country. And I'm reading up on VIP from New York. You know what I'm saying?
I'll be calling the show talking about, I need bond money. I need bail money.
You have a collect call from New York Penitentiary. Who is it? VIP. Slur. You know what I'm saying? No, I don't want to hear that, VIP. I don't want to hear about you unsubscribing somebody for life, man. No,
No, it's love, though. It's all love. I just want to say, look, it's all love. And if you enjoy this air you breathe in Slurpee, my advice to you is to keep slurping and keep VIP out your mouth, B. Other than that, you guys have a beautiful. I want you to walk in your greatness. Give my nieces they hug. Give the kids they hug. And just know, bro, I'm outside for real. I'm outside for real.
There you
I love you, man. Be safe, King.
Much love, man. VIP from New York. VIP said, I'm letting y'all know right now I want to smoke, so chill out. I feel you, brother. Definitely want to come to family. I just don't want to hear about VIP unsubscribing somebody from life. That's all. But social media, man, all jokes aside, I lost a friend years ago to social media. Years ago. Over something that it wasn't even him. It was his brother. Shot right at the playground over some stuff between him and his brother over social media. So I know how serious this can get, especially when we talk about somebody's kids. So I don't know the interaction. Somebody said it's on Law's show. Maybe I go check it out. I really don't. That stuff don't move me, but that's wrong. We won't do that here. Anybody bringing up somebody's kids or wife or something like that, we got to go ahead and cut that, because that's where those things can escalate. You know what I'm saying? You said it lasted too long? Yeah. You know, we'll have banter. We'll go back and forth. We'll throw a couple little cool little jabs, but we will not go that far. Ever. You go from VIP to 100 grand. I'm curious on 100 grand's thoughts on some things. What's up with you, brother?
VIP, chill out, bro. Chill out, man. Don't. That's my guy. VIP,
Hey,
chill, bro.
You and VIP remind me of Cam and Mace. Like I gotta get y'all on a call together and just let y'all go back and forth. I gotta let y'all go back and forth, man. That's Cam and Mace. It is what it is.
Yo, man, VIP, you can't be talking like that over the line.
That's the thing. Not over the line, because if you're going to go do something, they going to come and pull this. They going to pull this, and they going to pull Skywalker Steel in the damn, you know what I'm saying? Interview Sky.
Right.
Nah, I want nothing to do with this. I plead the fifth.
Ain't nothing to play with, dog.
It ain't.
The Weekos ain't nothing to play with, dog. Especially in New York. VIP, chill, bro. Chill, man.
What's up, though? What's on your mind, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I just heard him tripping, man. I'm like, what he just not this early in the morning? What's going on?
My guess is whoever this gentleman was, maybe watched the show and he was just letting him know, if you watching, I'm out here.
You hit that man up himself, you feel me? And you let that man know himself, but you don't go on the airwaves and do that, VIP. You don't do that. You hit that man up himself, you feel me? Like, hey, if you don't know him about that action, F around and find out. That's it. That's all. That's it. But you don't say nothing else on the line.
That's fact, bro. That's fact. Let's turn the page, though. 100 grand. I don't want to drag it out too long and get VIP in trouble. You know
I got you. But CD, you feel? Listen, man, we all know CD is that guy, bro. We all know CD is that guy. But for those people who didn't know that CD was that guy, he solidified himself this year with getting 1,000 yards without Dak. That lets you know I don't care who the quarterback is.
He quarterback
I still
proof.
put that work in. And it's not a lot of receivers that's quarterback proof. Even your best ones, you claim quarterback proof. Let me see him without a quarterback. You know? So,
I said this, VIP. Last week, I think it was. I was like, hey, I think CeeDee Lamb is entering his prime D-Hop era. Remember when D-Hop went on like a 8-year streak? He ain't have a quarterback, bro. But he was constantly balling, just putting up crazy numbers with a bunch of nobodies at quarterback until he got who was it? Deshaun Watson, right? So I think Lamb is in his D-Hop era, and it's ironic because that's his favorite player, right? He grew up trying to emulate D-Hop. So, you know, and D-Hop was that guy. You know, obviously he's on his way out to, you know, he's at the end of the tail end of his career, but Lamb is that dude, and he's proven it don't matter who the quarterback is, man. Get me the ball.
With a bum shoulder. And he was hurt with a bum shoulder. Come on. Come on, man. And everybody who said, oh, I don't know why CD got paid, where your apologies at? Where the apologies at? But you know what they do, Sky? Man, we ain't win no Super Bowl with them.
Well,
that's what they say. You know what I mean? We ain't win no Super Bowl with them.
And, bro, some people just are not going to change their mind. I've learned that over the years doing this publicly, you know, daily. It does not matter what you say, what you show, what proof you bring out there. They're not going to move off their stance. People want to confirm the priors. People, they don't like to say, you know what, damn it, I was wrong on that one. Or, hey, man, let me give this guy props. Or, hey, that's just, you know, they don't want to do that. Because they don't have a platform where they got to do that. I tell you guys all the time, I talk about really what is and use that information to move forward. I may not like a player, but if that player is playing well or did play well, I got to talk to you guys about it. I can't stand on something that no longer exists. You know what I mean? So, and that's I feel like my responsibility. But a lot of fans that don't call into shows that has like a 100 grand who comes out and says, you know, these guarantees, they don't come back on the show to say, you know what, I was wrong. And 100 grand to your credit, you say, hey, dog, it ain't work out, you know. But if it does work out, 100 grand will let you know That motherfucker worked out. You know what I mean? There's people who don't do that. They just flat out let you know when it worked out, and they gone like little roaches when the lights come on when it don't work out.
We don't respect those. We
I don't respect those. I don't respect those.
Those people don't even get my attention. You know what I mean? Like, I stand on my word. If I come out here and say something gonna go a certain way, if it don't, I come right back the next day. Man, I was wrong. Those are men. Those are men. Those people who just throw rocks and hide their hand, they ain't men.
Brandon. My guy Brandon there, he must be new. I don't know if he's talking to me or if he's talking to you. He said, have you backtracked on your Donovan Wilson hate? I don't know who he talking about.
Ain't talking to me.
He could be.
I ain't talking about no Dono. So
because
ain't
y'all,
talking to me.
Anybody that watch my show know how much I love Donovan Wilson, and I praise Donovan Wilson coming into this season. So Brandon, I don't know who you talking about, but let us know, brother.
I ain't never mentioned Dono name, so I ain't talking about me. You know
Professor Rose said, bro, he said, bro, Sky got a Donovan Wilson tattoo.
Ain't talking about
me. In the fan club. You the fan club leader.
Oh, Donovan Wilson FC over here, but I had to keep it. But 100 grand, I had to keep it a bean earlier in the year, bro. Our safeties wasn't playing well at all, and I had to call it out. But I had to hold out hope that things would get better, and they have definitely gotten better, man.
They've gotten better. Unfortunately, I don't understand. Two things just can't match.
Oh, yeah,
that can't be out there and the defense ball out. You see what I'm saying? And then if the defense do ball out when Dak out there, it was the defense that carried Dak. But, you know, Cooper Rush don't get the same treatment.
He
Cooper
don't.
Rush the greatest in the world.
I think it's hilarious,
He's the greatest
bro.
in the world. I don't get it.
Like, I get it's amazing. It's great content right now to have that conversation, but it's too easy to crush the myth right now because, bro, if you literally flip the schedule, we would be saying, man, we ain't buying into these Cowboys. They playing some bums. We gotta wait till, you know what I'm saying? If you literally flip
Dak Prescott, y'all want Dak Prescott to y'all praising Dak Prescott. He ain't play nobody. That's what they would be saying. But since Cooper Rush is out there, oh man, he great, man. We should have went into the season with it should have been Cooper Rush season. Well, people, let me know if Cooper Rush get a starting job next year. Let me know.
Nah, he ain't gonna get a starting job.
No. This is for everybody who say Cooper Rush is great, the greatest quarterback in the world. Let me know if a team picks him up and gives him a starting job. All they got to pay him is $30 million, like they did Baker Mayfield, like they did my man from Seattle, like they did my man from Seattle. Didn't he only get paid $30 million, Scott? So Cooper Rush can get paid $30 million and be a starter just like them guys. Yes.
No, he not.
Was terrible yesterday.
He not those
terrible.
dudes,
150 yards. Are you kidding me? But I'm saying that everybody would say Cooper Rush is great and Cooper Rush is better than Dak. I want to see Cooper Rush get $30 million and start somewhere next year.
Honestly, if we do have this conversation, I'm gonna keep it a bean. If they bring back Mike, I would bring back Rush. Straight up, think about it. Cooper.
I want somebody that can run. Somebody that can maneuver. That's what I want. I don't want Cooper Rush. We know who Cooper Rush is. I want somebody that can maneuver and run. Man.
All right, get one of them too. You can have 3 quarterbacks. Get one of them too. But the reason why I say that is Cooper Rush he already left Dallas and went to New York and couldn't do anything there. Came back to Dallas and this is where he's most comfortable at, and in this offense he's most comfortable. So I would bring him back because if something happens to Dak again, at least you know that you know how to play with this quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And he's shown that, you know, whether it's the defense carrying or whatever, that, all right, cool, I can at least get in here and I'm not week in, week out going to throw for 45 yards. You know what I'm saying? I can have my moments and my days to where I do just enough for us to get this dub and protect the ball, get the ball out quick, all that good stuff. And he knows the offense. So if the goal is to put together a team that can, you know, sustain injuries as well, I mean, Rush just makes sense if Mike McCarthy is going to be here. I think that's a conversation that really should be had because I agree with VIP. Like, it shouldn't be about trying to one-up each other and eat our own. Like, you can congratulate Rush for the success he's had and talk about the positive that he does, also realizing the deficiencies that he has. But in the same conversation, say, hey, look, if we really trying to build a team with depth, I don't mind having Rush in the room with a developmental quarterback as well. I think that just makes sense.
You're right. I agree. And we the only team that do that. Do you think Detroit is eating up their own? They got Sonic and Knuckles over there. Are they putting Sonic and Knuckles against each other? No.
No.
You know what I mean? But what about that quarterback from, Justin Fields?
Yeah.
Because if they give Russell Wilson, they talking about Russell Wilson might get a 3-year contract. So what they going to do with him? Is he on a 1-year deal too? Because if he is, I would bring him in.
Well, he got traded for, but that's interesting. So here's the thing about a guy like Fields. I don't trust Mike McCarthy to be able to get the best out of a guy like Fields. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you need a guy like Dak and Rush. Those guys are more so the cerebral type quarterbacks. And I'm not. This is not a knock on Justin Fields. Maybe he is. Who knows? But I don't know if he'd come in here and be able to do the West Coasty type of things that McCarthy is asking these guys to do. That's why you're seeing a guy like Trey Lance not be able to get out there, right? Like he can't execute the West Coasty type of things. And then I don't think McCarthy cares to change the playbook to a read option RPO type of offense is where that type of quarterback has thrived. You know what I mean?
So if we was to bring in Daniel Jones, he would be more that guy.
That would be interesting, but Daniel Jones costs a lot of money, brother. Like when I say a lot of money, Rush is going to get backup, like low end backup quarterback money. Daniel Jones is going to get high end backup quarterback money.
You think so? How much is he getting over there in
Well, he cleared waivers.
Is that a 1-year deal?
Right. He cleared waivers, signed as a backup middle of the season. But going through the offseason now where there's a bunch of suitors, there's free agency money, cap goes up. I think I could see Daniel Jones being like a top 5-ish backup quarterback. Hell, he might start. Time out now. Wait a minute, because he might pull a Sam Darnold somewhere, right? Go somewhere, get in the competition. They draft a rookie quarterback, it don't work out, and he starts. So I wouldn't write him off from getting a little bit more money than the vet minimum.
I didn't think about him starting somewhere. I'm being honest. That guy's a backup guy, but he
back up to me too, but.
Maybe.
It may be, maybe.
But interesting, very interesting. And this is an indictment on those other 2 receivers we drafted. CeeDee Lamb get all that attention, and those other guys couldn't do nothing. Wipe the receiving core clean. Let's get some new guys in there.
Oh, damn, I can't wipe it clean, but I would begin kind of. I'd begin the overhaul per se. You know what I'm saying? I'd begin the overhaul. I 100% would get a long-term running mate for CeeDee Lamb up in here. Tolbert ain't going nowhere. I'd re-sign Devontae Turpin. Flournoy is a draft pick. Jalen Brooks is a draft pick, but I let these guys fight it out. Mingo, brother, I don't know. You gave up a 4th-round pick. I guess he's going to be sticking around. I just don't want these dudes to be like, oh, well, Jalen was a 3rd. Mingo was a 4th-round pick. We gotta roll with these guys. I hope they don't do that.
Me neither. I hope they draft a stud in the draft. Do what you did when Amari Cooper was here. Draft a stud in there, man. See, we can't wait. And this I don't want to waste CD.
Yeah.
And if we just say we good, we're wasting CD. Let's
and they've
get
said
another
that.
guy in here.
They've publicly said, this is what blows my damn mind, 100 grand. They've said 2 things to me that's like, bro, shut up. Number one, it was like, hey, Dak, you got to do more with less. That was the dumbest thing ever. And then they said to CD right before he got his bread, hey, man, we about to pay you all this money, so you're going to have to do even more. You're going to have to get 250 targets and 189 receptions and 2,000. It's like, look, we get these guys getting the money and they got to play a certain way or whatever, but that doesn't mean that you don't help these guys out that can relieve some pressure off of them throughout a game or throughout a season. Because once you get to these playoffs, man, best believe you're not going up against organizations that's like, you know what? We're going to give our quarterback less and our wide receiver one less. That is not what's happening when you play these teams. So I hate that they talk like that. I hope they don't move like that this offseason, but, the breadcrumbs are already starting to be dropped that may be the case.
Exactly. It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. And F those Eagles, we might not beat them, but let's hurt them. The way they were hitting in that last game.
Let's hurt them. I like that.
I want to see that same hitting in this game. Because them
like
boys
that.
was hitting, boy. I want to see that same hitting. Let's hurt them boys. F them Eagles, man. Let's go.
Yeah, I appreciate you, 100 grand. Good stuff.
All right, man.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, but, what I'm not writing off is this Cowboys defense. This Cowboys defense is legitimate. They're going to make it tough on this Eagles offense, especially if they don't have Jalen Hurts and they got Kenny Pickett out there, who sounds like he's going to be playing. They're going to try to get Saquon off. They're going to try to get him. He's 268 yards away from breaking the record. That's 145 yards a game he needs to break it completely. I say they're going to try to get him at least $150 in this one. And they'd be silly not to try to get Saquon $150, because Saquon is going to be most of their offense without a quarterback. A.J. Brown's out there, Devontae Smith's out there 100%, but I don't know if Kenny Pickett is going to be able to dice you up in that way. Not the way our Cowboys defense is playing against these guys, man. Not at all. Or when I say against these guys, against opponents, against better quarterbacks. Speaking of A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, you don't hear the Eagles saying, well, you know what? We paid A.J. Brown. We don't need to pay Devontae. No. Minnesota literally drafted a first-round wide receiver to go with Jetta. Now, I understand the Cincinnati Bengals are going through contract situations with their receivers because they move a little bit like the Cowboys move, right? Paul Brown, I believe. It's Paul. No, that's the son. Not Paul Brown. What's the son's name? Is it Paul Jr.? Mr. Brown, the owner, is notoriously cheap and hasn't paid either one of their wide receivers. They had like 1 year where they was really paying free agents, and it was the year he notoriously stepped back, right? He said, you know what, I'm going to let them handle things. And what happened? They went to the Super Bowl, right? So Cincinnati's a cheap organization, so they kind of move like the Cowboys. But most teams, Miami Dolphins, right? I mean, they're trying to surround their ones with another guy. Hell, yeah, D-Shift, Cowboys. Now, Lamb fell into your laps. Amari with CD. So now why the sudden change of, well, we got CeeDee Lamb, so we're going to be asking more of him and less of anybody else? No. Go get him a running mate, man. Stop playing. This is receiver. This isn't quarterback where one guy plays 100% of the snaps barring injury. You need 4 of them. Speaking of the Cowboys defense, earlier I hinted about Mike and his return being a little bit muddy. I'm not talking about Mike McCarthy, though, right? It all but feels like McCarthy's going to be. I don't think that's muddy. Everything that Jerry's been saying, the way the Cowboys are playing on the way out, which I still don't believe this is garners a return, but I've accepted that's likely what's happening. I feel like Mike McCarthy's coming back. I felt like Mike Zimmer returning was all but a sure thing. I mean, of course, whether it's here or elsewhere, it felt like a no-brainer that Mike Zimmer was going to either be back, especially if McCarthy's back. Yeah, Mike Zimmer running this thing back. But then Mike Zimmer was posed the question, and his answer to me raised major red flags. And no one seems to really be talking about this. They asked Mike Zimmer about returning, and this is what he had to say. Take a listen.
You were out of the game. You've come back despite all of the challenges and not making the playoffs in this sort of unique season. Have you enjoyed it? And is it something you
Oh, yeah,
want
it's been a blast. It's been a blast. It's been great.
Smart
Yeah, I
ass.
love the beginning of the year, and yeah.
So you regret anything?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I've had fun. I've had fun. Yeah, and things change in a couple years too. There's a lot of different stuff going on. We've had to kind of blend some of the defenses, and that took a while. But it's been hard. I'm not going to lie about that. It's hard. It's been hard.
But you like it enough that you want to keep doing it.
Yeah, well, we'll see it. Let's wait till the end of the year and see where we're at.
That sounds and looks like a man that is defeated. I saw the quote and I said, let me go listen, because sometimes you can't get the tone, right, of these coaches or players, and you need that context. The video made it worse for me. I'm concerned because it sounds like Mike Zimmer is a little defeated, and he joked about, how, man, yeah, I'm having a blast, but it's been hard. It's hard. Hey, coach, well, are you going to return next year? I don't know. Well, let's wait till the end of the year and let's see. Wait a minute. Well, what are 2 more games? What is that going to do? Mike Zimmer is almost 70 years old. He'll be 69 going into the season next year. He took a couple seasons off, came back, and I don't know if the grind of the season as a coordinator is something that he is loving right now. And while we've all been praising him, rightfully so, and expecting him to return if Mike McCarthy returns, I'm not so sure anymore. Real quick before I move forward, is it an overreaction or not? Am I overreacting to Mike Zimmer stating, I don't know, we'll wait to the end of the season? And the reason why, and I pose this question to y'all and I'll read some of your answers, is because I don't even know if I want a 69-year-old coach who is half in, half out. I don't even know if I want that anymore. I need a guy that's all in. And I don't know if Zim is all in. We kind of joked about it throughout the season and like, man, Zim just on the sideline kind of just looked detached, especially early. And he's been low-key one of the most transparent people in the organization when you go look at his pressers and interviews or what have you. He's been telling you a lot of things. One of the things he said right here that, again, went under the radar. We had to blend the defense and it took a while. I don't think Zim liked that. Like most coaches, he's stubborn. He wants to do things his way. But I think he realized, I don't have all of my guys. I didn't pick these dudes. They've been successful in doing certain things in previous years. I think Zim was trying early in the season to do it all Zim's way, and it didn't work out. And they had to blend some of the DQ stuff with Zim, and it finally started clicking. Guys obviously started getting back healthy again. And I don't know if Zim really likes that. Doesn't seem like he's enjoying it. Overreaction or not? He's 69, but his girlfriend's 19. Facts. Carol said, I'm not overreacting. Season is over. You know, we'll wait I don't know what 2 more games is going to do here. Dre said it's coming together though, Zim. It'll be easier next year. Gerald said we all defeated. I don't know if Dre, if it's necessarily about the success now. T. Roy said, so not overreacting. Soto said a little bit. Toxic said, dude, the sky's age. Soto says every coach says it at the end of the year. Says what? I don't know if I'm returning. I don't know about that one, Soto. Brian said not an overreaction. Matt said definitely something to keep in mind. It definitely, I'm watching it. That is 100%. I am keeping my eye on this, because this is just as much of a big deal as the head coaching search, if they even decide to do that, right? So now let's play hypothetical here. Let's say Mike McCarthy comes back, because I believe Mike McCarthy is coming back. I saw a lot of y'all in the chat here bring up Al Harris as a defensive coordinator. I understand. I'm not opposed to it. Likely candidate. But here's why I'm going elsewhere. If Mike McCarthy comes back and they're going to run this coaching staff back, but Zimmer says, I tap out. I'm done. I can't do this. I would go and interview Paul Guenther if we're looking for continuity, right? Now, are there guys like a Robert Saleh who might be out there and be able to be available for defensive coordinator? Absolutely. Would love him on the staff. But if they're looking for the continuity, they don't want a new scheme in here. They're understanding said scheme, and they think next year they can kind of plug and go and there's not going to be that weight. I think Paul Guenther makes a ton of sense. I've been saying this, but Zimmer is a very transparent guy. If you listen to Zimmer throughout the year, he credits Paul Guenther a lot. He credits Guenther for a lot of the things you see in that front seven. And if you guys were around back in the offseason when we broke down the coaching staff, we talked about how Paul Guenther was the mastermind behind the double A gap and the blitzes and the unique things you see up front. And Zimmer is the mastermind on the back end. So with that said, I would miss Mike Zimmer's mastermindness per se from a coverage standpoint, because I think the coverage has gotten better. But the things you're seeing up front, this guy is pretty much responsible for it. So if they bring him back, I wouldn't be upset at that. Also, something I don't think I'm overreacting about here. The Cowboys linebacking room collectively, I think, has played the best ball I've seen in a long time. Not an individual player, not a year, not one or two. Collective. I've literally seen from Kendricks to Demo to Vigil to the rookie Maris Leofau. This group has collectively played some damn good ball and looked different than it did in years past. And I don't think that has anything to do with the linebackers coach by name. I think it's Paul Guenther. So hear me clearly here, because I would love to get a guy like Robert Saleh, but hear me clearly. If they're looking to keep continuity and Zimmer says I'm done, I think Paul Guenther jumps ahead of Al Harris, but Al Harris remains to keep some of that defensive back continuity, and these guys can work together to continue the blend of what Guenther/Zimmer wants to do and what Al Harris / whatever was going on previous years wants to do. So I'm just saying, this makes the most sense if you don't want to kind of restart and re-kick a different scheme heading into next year. And we got to deal with, Robert Saleh's great, but we're going to have to go through the growing pains early. There shouldn't be growing pains. You bring back Scanina, you're bringing back everybody except Zimmer, right? If they run back Mike McCarthy. Now, if they don't run back Mike McCarthy, then the whole process kind of is a clean slate. I think you let the offensive coordinator, the head coach, bring in his guys he has a relationship with. Now, you can say, well, Sky, why don't you let Mike McCarthy do that? Well, Mike McCarthy hasn't been given that ability consistently during his tenure here, and I don't really see that stopping. Yeah, Sky, he brought in Mike Nolan. Yeah, real quick, and they said get up out of here, right? But he was given Kellen Moore. He was given, let's be real here, Dan Quinn and Mike Zimmer. Let's be honest. Okay. And you could say, well, great, because those things worked out. That's all. I'm not going to lie to you. If you want to praise the Joneses for getting DQ and getting Zim, then give them praise. I'm not going to fight you on that one. because the guy that Mike Zimmer or Mike McCarthy it didn't work out in Mike Nolan. So if the Joneses say, "Nah, we're not going to start this whole thing over, Mike. You can return, but we're bringing back Paul." While I hate that they're doing this, I would like the Paul Gunther hire. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, toxic. He was. Am I using the wrong word there, toxic? Is given the wrong word? Brandon said, "What about Fangio?" Oh, I don't know how new Brandon is here. Vic Fangio's my guy, but I don't know if Vic Fangio's leaving anytime soon. He a PA dude. He in Philly. Where you going? Spock said, "Everyone except Damone." I mean, Damone hasn't played enough for me to be like, "Oh, Damone Clark sucks," right? Like, Damone Clark is an afterthought in this linebacker room. I still think I stand on this. This linebacker room collectively has been better than I've ever seen collectively. Of course, your fifth linebacker doesn't really factor into that. I don't think Damone factors into this. I don't think he's played enough, and he's even really a part of this thing. He's been usurped by other guys. Damone doesn't matter here. Damone is likely not returning next year if they bring back this staff. You know what I mean? B Bird, what's up, man? Happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you, brother.
Same to you, man. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing fantastic.
Appreciate the show today, too.
Well, thank you.
Hey, so one thing with Zimmer, man, when I'm on hold, I couldn't really hear it. But one of the things that we gave credit for is Zimmer, knowing how to deal with the Joneses. But those were the Joneses a while ago. I think they've gotten progressively worse. So I think when he gets here, he kind of sees how things are done. And a real coach, man, that's not going to sit well with them. You know what I'm saying? Like playing time, roster decisions and things of that sort, man. It just, and then you asking for things and you're not getting them, or it's just that stuff is.
I think right there,
it's a fight before you get to the field.
Real quick, right there. I think I think that's real. When it comes to wanting guys, maybe in free agency, the Joneses saying no. But other than that, I do think the Joneses are less hands-on defensively. I do think that. I think they usually let their defensive guys kind of just do what they need to do, unless it deals with free agency. And maybe Zim feels some type of way about not getting, his type of either defensive tackles, ends, safeties, whatever. Maybe he does feel some type of way.
Yeah, and you were talking about linebackers, and I think what's happening is we're more talented at linebacker. They took it a little more seriously. But also these linebackers aren't using the catch technique where they just let the running back run into their arms instead of going after them. So,
that's
we got some guys as aggressive back there.
That's
coaching, absolutely.
That's coaching to me,
but
brother.
I'm going to tell you one thing.
Yeah.
I want to say one thing. I want to give you this before, and I want you to think about this. LVE and Clark, I think both had neck issues.
Yeah.
And I think they were making business decisions at the end. They're just trying to survive, man. And putting your neck in there, that's what a linebacker does. So I think they just made business decisions all over the field, man, and it just didn't turn out well.
No, yeah, I mean, Clark was a solid last year, but I think we had high expectations. At least I had high expectations for him, and I don't think he reached those. And then when you bring in a different staff that has a different technique in teaching, I don't think Clark fit that. I think he fit more of the athletic profile of a Dan Quinn, and you saw it pretty much very quickly, right, where Leofau takes over. They bring in Vigil takes over, and they're just like, hey, Clark is just going to be our fifth guy. But LVE, I'm just glad LVE is doing well in his retirement. I never thought they should have brought him back last year. And
Correct. So one thing, I did get an opportunity to listen to Law's show yesterday, and that back and forth between the two dudes. I was like,
I didn't watch that.
Kind of crazy. And so the thing is, man, I was just going to say that, I'm only on one social media, that'd be Twitter, X or whatever. And that's just really to get information. I don't tweet a lot or whatever. But I've been on there and I've interacted with a content creator, and we were just talking, we had different opinion, but it started getting a little disrespectful. And so I kind of cut it off right there. And I remember you saying that you even cut off people that you see get disrespectful with other people. You're like, I'm not even going to deal with that.
I block it. Like, if I see it.
I block it, yeah.
Yeah, if I see it on, I'm not even involved, right? But if I see you with somebody I know, or maybe I don't even know you, I know the person, and I see it go crazy, oh, you getting blocked. I'm not trying to invite that.
I'm not dealing with that.
Yeah.
That's correct.
I'm not even gonna let that hang around.
No.
And so the person I got into with, I commented probably about a month later about something. He said, "You always negative toward me. You always do." And I said, the reason why I actually disagree with you way more than I actually post. I said I don't post because you kind of got disrespectful last time you know we post. And I said I don't really deal with disrespect, so I just said, hey, I'll listen to your ideas, but I just won't interact with you. And so it kind of reminds me before, because what ends up happening, man, this media right here, YouTube, y'all content creators, the thing I like about it is that, man, I'm trying to gather information, gain different perspectives,
Yeah.
and it's done here without the disrespect. And that's the thing I like about it. That's why I'm not even in the chat much, to be totally honest with you. I just kind of listen to you guys, man, and go back and forth. Because back in the days before this became a thing, I used to go to message boards, and it always devolved into a lot of, radical over here and radical over there.
Extremists.
Nothing being solved that way. Extremists. And
Yeah.
it's just like, we can't even talk football
Nope.
anymore because, that then you start getting personal over there, then you get personal over here, and now we can't even tell us the Dallas Cowboy message board anymore, man. And so that's kind of where I am with that. And I think people take it too serious, and some of these things I just get away from, man.
That's crazy because before social media boomed, there was the message boards. I remember that there was certain websites and I guess Discord's a thing now, but the Discord before Discord, BTB used to have that. There was a lot of different message boards. Facebook became a boom, and it was cool to talk, and that's kind of how I was noticed by certain people was being able to express our opinions and do it civilly, even in the heat of disagreement. Now, things have changed, brother, and I refuse to do that on social media. So I just say let's wrap about it here.
I'm not inviting stress into my life, and so one thing, and this is what I call for, and I'll tell you this, and I want. Okay, so let me just say it, because Patrick Nosey said something that I definitely believe, and I talked to Law about this yesterday. Shannon Sharp said something the other day. He said, "Yeah, the Cowboys winning now. They're playing loose. They don't have any pressure on them." And I definitely believe
there's something to that. Yeah, I think there's something to that.
There's something to that. Yeah. Now people kind of they can poo-poo that if they want to, but we've seen them play tight in the playoffs, right? We've seen them with the Dak eyes, with like a deer in the headlight in the playoffs. And so the thing about it is, I think what we have to try to do, or not we, I think the organization and the coaching staff got to figure out, okay, how do we bottle this up? And play like this without all these things on our minds in the playoffs, because every playoff loss we had, we've never played up to par. We didn't play up to par and lost. We never played under what we played in the regular season.
We've never come out strong, and I think that has to do with that, right? Like just and I think fool me once, shame on you. But when it happens over and over and over and over and over again, I don't think it's just a specific player or unit on the field. I think that's about preparation and coaching and confidence. And I will continue to say what you told me years ago about preparation breeds confidence. And you saw it in San Francisco when they came out against Dallas in 21. I will continue to preach that. I think that has everything to do with it. Those guys were confident in what they saw on film and their preparation and what they were going to do to Dallas, and they came out strong. And the Cowboys, they only play that way when they're down in the playoffs and have to play that kind of catch-up mode. They don't come out strong in that way because I don't think they are as prepared or more prepared than the other team, or have a better game plan than the other team. I truly believe that.
Yeah, and I think the words that that Shannon used was low expectations. Even in games where you're down 27 to 6 in the third quarter, expectations at that point in time are lower. So they kind of loosen up a little bit in play. But I think the coach got to understand the psychology of his team and just say, hey man, what do we have to do? Now, one thing the coach can't do, and we talked about it, is preparation. But what other things can we do to lighten the load on these guys because they're thinking about it? I always think this. The difference between – go on.
No, that's a great point because remember when the Cowboys got down 7-0. It was only 7-0, B-Bird. There's a shot of Mike McCarthy on the sideline throwing his hands in the air and going, and I'm like, it's 7-0, coach. This the playoffs. This is do or die. They looking at you do that? How you? What are we doing? Why are we panicking and throwing our hands in the air after 7-0?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, when that happened, when CeeDee got mushed in the face and did nothing, and when they were on the sidelines with their hands in the air screaming at each other, or I'm like, this is over. This is over before it even begins.
It's over. The body language of it is. And that's because they don't have confidence in what they're doing out there because they only had one way to win. Score early, get up early, let our pass rush affect the other team, and that's how we're going to win this game. But when that first part of the formula wasn't there because the other team scored first,
they ain't know what to do.
All off. Like,
they ain't know what to do.
They know what to do.
Yeah.
And that definitely is on Mike McCarthy, man. So he has to do some things. And that's why I was talking about that leader of men things. He has to do some things, man, that gets those guys ready. And I'll tell you this: the difference I think between say, because there's always this debate, LeBron James and Michael Jordan. I've seen them both play. But the thing I liked about LeBron and Kobe is that their fearlessness, and not in taking last-second shots. It's the fact that they didn't care about the ridicule they was going to get if they missed. See, LeBron cares too much about what's going to happen if I fail, and he starts thinking about that too much, and then that causes him to kind of shy away from taking the shots and all that because he's thinking about that. Kobe and Jordan thinks about what happens if I hit this shot. They don't even think about the other side. And if they'll be after the game, they'll be like, "Oh, I didn't even think about missing. I thought I was going to hit the shot." LeBron thinks about what's going to happen when he missed, and that's a failure type mentality. And I think that's what happens with the Cowboys. Like, "Oh Lord, what they going to say on it? What I got to talk to the media if we lose." And now you start to build this thing in your mind about being unsuccessful. You don't need to be thinking that way, and you got to find a coach in there that can get this mentality changed around, because I really think that those guys are winning games now because they're playing loose, man. They're playing free, and we got to be able to bottle that and take that to the playoffs next year when we go.
Yeah,
that's it for me, Scott. I'm going to holler at you, man. I'll listen to you offline, brother. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, B-Bird. I think there's many factors in this current run, but I definitely do think there's something to playing more free, per se. But I think one of the main factors, you hit the great part of your schedule. Let's just be honest. If we're keeping it a beam, right? Like, we knew the gauntlet we faced earlier in that season, and they weren't ready. They weren't prepared for it. It took some time. Then obviously injuries hit and things like that. Now you're getting guys back. They played around with certain things, if you want to call them, we're going to run it back by committee. We don't know who's going to do this and do that. And it was another one of those slow starts. And this isn't new. This happened, again, the previous year. So, I don't know, man. Y'all know how I feel. I want to start over in regards to the staff, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think it was Professor O that said 12-5. Nah, 7-10. Yes, we'll bring you back. I think that's how they're going to look at it. If you finish 7-10 or 8-9 or 9-8, whatever, they're going to look at that as a better accomplishment than the previous years due to the injuries and things like that. And to me, I think it is an accomplishment though for Mike McCarthy. But my standards are higher than that. I think Michael Irvin said something along those lines where, wait a minute now. Wait. I understand you guys are winning at the end of the season right here. But let's not forget, we are the Dallas Cowboys, and it's about playoffs, and we're not going to the playoffs. And me personally, I think a lot of this is on the backs of Mike Zimmer. But I won't. You can say, well, Sky, you're not giving enough credit to Mike. McCarthy, that is. I will credit him. And yeah, I may be a little bit unfair by not giving him all the credit or most of the credit. That's very possible. And I think a lot of that is because I don't think he's the man to get the Cowboys over the hump in this organization. But I do think the defensive coordinators have been the major catalyst, per se, in the driving force and kind of keeping him around a little bit. Zimmer, DQ before him up until the playoff game, and obviously having your franchise quarterback helps a lot too. But I do want to say this though. I think McCarthy would be fantastic somewhere else. And maybe he looks, when I say fantastic, I mean for an organization where playoffs aren't really the standard, to win in the playoffs or whatever. I said it before, Chicago, Raiders, Jacksonville. I think he'd help rebuild that program into a grown-up program per se. I think Dallas needs more than a grown-up here. They need a difference maker on the sideline. They need a wizard. They need a guy who is able to provide some wizardry that overcomes what the guys above them, or lack thereof, what they decide to do. Mike ain't a wizard, man. Mike ain't a wizard. D Shift, what's up, man?
What's going on, Scott?
Not much, brother. Happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas and all that good stuff.
All that good stuff, man. I appreciate you saying likewise, bro. Man, I think with the coaching staff, it's unfortunate. I think as the owners, I think they do a good job as far as like not letting the coach be in his own way, because you see that at times. I think you saw that with Belichick at the end of his tenure, right? Where you just kind of get so stubborn, you just kind of get lost. Well, the game kind of loses you. So I think that's good with that. But other than that, I don't know if there's a strong enough coach. I think Keyshawn was talking to Mike, and I think his only basis of talking about extending McCarthy was because, like, who else are you going to get? They're like, all right, well, Dion, and you need more of a culture type of coach. I think they can try to patch some things together as far as the X's and O's are concerned. Mm-hmm. I think you have enough tenured players, smart enough players to kind of take on those responsibilities and help the coaches out. But I think they need more of a culture type of guy. And unfortunately, like the Jones, like they are the culture, right? So I don't know if they bring that type of personality. I don't know if there's a coach out there on the market
then that's why I think that's the buzzword, is to get a guy here who could change the culture. I don't think the culture is changing. With the culture is the Joneses, like that.
Yeah,
that's why I'm kind of just not convinced.
Yeah,
I accept it. I've accepted the fact that you it's more than culture. Unfortunately, you would like it to be all about culture changing, right? And get a situation where Dan Campbell changes the culture of a losing franchise. You know what I'm saying? That'd be great. But then that means, all right, if I'm going to get that type of culture coach, they need to bring in the Wizards. So then the Wizards have to be underneath those, because I believe you're going to need a wizard. You know what I mean? To get the best out of these guys, because there's no reason why I should go 2 years and I'm looking at Kevontae Turpin being at the bottom part of this offense. I'm looking at Brandon Cooks kind of not being used correctly. You know, I'm looking at them just completely dropping the ball on the running back room. I'm looking at the slow starts coming out the gate, even after you had a full year and a full offseason, 2 off seasons to get the offense together. I'm looking at you having to scrap what you were doing in the first half of last year, and only reason why that thing snapped the way it did was because you had to literally steal other plays and then spam that and say, you know what, quarterback, do your thing. That isn't enough for me to overcome what they need to. You know what I mean? So I would love the culture coach, but then get me the wizard that's going to be able to do that on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, I think they've had success with their last 2 defensive coordinators. They're kind of getting a little better with that. DQ for what he did at the end, I get it, but I think overall there was success, and Zimmer has had success, so they've gotten that right a little bit. And then with this season, though, Scott, I think it's kind of like made us lower not made us lower expectations, but it kind of tricks us, right? Because now we're operating from a 500 standpoint, where we were 12-5, make the playoffs. We knew that. And now it's like, all right, well, we went 3-7, come back stronger. So I have all these chats about, well, do you give Mike McCarthy his just due for the job he's done? And that's like, no, that's just his job. You know, I can't give him. Yeah. We're not a losing franchise. We're giving him a cookie to doing his job. That's a good point.
Yeah. So like, I can't give him that. And then so when you say, or when we talk about, like as far as like defensively, we had some good things going with Dan Quinn, but we still haven't solved the running game issue. You know what I mean? To try to move on to be dominant. You need a dominant defense. You need dominant offensive line play. You need some skill players. You need two out of those 3, right? Or
let me
say this. Try to make that what we're trying to talk about as far as the Super Bowl.
When it comes, 2 things real quick. Let me stay there and remind me if I forget the run game. But I want to address Sarge's thing, because I think Big Sarge, I think you kind of glossed over my whole point with this. He said, I can't remember where it's at, but something along the lines of, okay, he said, Scott, it sounds good saying that the Cowboys need a wizard of a coach. However, you're not taking into account the owner making the personnel decisions. Sarge, I'm quite literally taking that into account. That's exactly why I said we need a wizard, because you have to overcome what they're not going to do from a personnel standpoint. Right. So if you're giving me the Brandon Cooks, the Kevontae Turpins, the Jalen Tolberts, the Ferguson, like these are the guys opposite of my top dudes and the Tony Pollards, whatever. I need a coach that's going to be able to utilize these guys to the top of their strengths, right? And put them in position to be uber successful and be weapons and dangerous weapons. I don't think that's McCarthy, is what I'm getting at. So I'm quite literally taking in the fact that the Joneses are not going to go out here and give you all these top end guys from a free agency or trade standpoint. They're going to give you just enough in regards to bottom barrel guys free agency and then hope that the draft guys hit. So I'm definitely taking that into account, Big Sarge. Number two, you brought up the coaches and the run game situation. I will credit Dan Quinn for trying personnel wise. Yeah. Quinn tried from a personnel. He's drafted and was bringing in run guys and big dudes where the Cowboys hadn't done that in years. But the problem was his scheme didn't fit it. This year, we brought in scheme, but they didn't give Mike Zimmer his guys. So we once again have cereal, no milk, peanut butter, no jelly. Yeah. And it seems like this is what the Cowboys consistently do. It's offense, no defense. It's defense, no offense. It's D tackles, no scheme. It's scheme, no DTs. It's linebackers, no linebackers. They don't put it all together because, and this all comes back around to what I believe is the thing here. This front office just be doing shit. I truly believe the front office has no real, legitimate, concrete plan. They just do shit. And then they go, uh-oh. It's August. Carl Davis and Mozzie ain't enough. Let's go get a 36-year-old and a dude who was about to get cut. Uh-oh. We don't have linebackers. We got to sign Rashaan Evans and then cut Rashaan Evans and then use safeties at linebackers. Uh-oh. Damn it, we need a cornerback and a receiver. We could have used that the previous year, but let's go ahead and go and you know what I'm saying? They just do stuff, bro, and they're so late to the party. I digress.
And I get it. Like, your quarterback went down. You lost
true.
A lot of.
It's damn
you lost
true.
A lot of defensive.
But we know you're going to put the cape on for those guys, Troy. We know you are. But call in and tell me where I'm wrong. These boys don't got no damn plan. They just be doing shit, and they are a reactive team. They're not proactive.
Nah, because like I even talked to you when you talked about like defensive ends, right? And I was like, I think we have enough, and you're like, no, we don't. Like, you know, the Fowler and the Armstrong losses, those were, you know, huge and big. And for me, it's like, all right, well, you got two starters and you got some pretty good backups. So let's see what we can do. But then, you know, people get hurt, right?
Yeah, once you lose 3 or 4 defensive ends, of course you ain't got enough. You know.
Yeah, that's not supposed to happen. That's not always going to happen. But the same token,
what's the plan?
Like, they weren't ready. They weren't ready to deal with something like that.
Tell me what the plan. Okay, you could. My bad. Fighting Troy here. You could argue they have a plan. I just don't like it. All right, cool. Whatever. But my brother, what is the plan? And let's discuss if the plan. Forget if I like it. If it's a good one. Let's talk about if it's a good one. I guess everybody got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. But tell me how is it a plan to come out the draft 2 years in a row without a running back given the situation? How is it a plan to come out the draft and knowing you have no defensive tackles and wait to sign a 36-year-old and completely ignore it? How is that a legitimate plan?
You don't got no skill players.
No skill. Come on, man. Okay, maybe that's
we know
the plan.
It takes three or four skill players.
Tell me, is it a good plan to do that going into these seasons? Tell me, is it a good plan to be a notorious reactionary organization? Is that a good plan? If you want to say they got a plan, I just don't like it. Do you like it? Do you think the plan makes, you know what I'm saying? Is it a good plan?
Oh, man.
My bad, D-Shift. But this guy's notoriously, bootlicker for this front office. I like to fight him with him because I don't think this front office is good. But I digress.
Yeah, no, the front office, like I said, the only thing they can do is keep a coach from being stubborn. But like they have so many flaws that they don't.
He
like
said
if this
the
was
plan
like Madden,
was to prepare for next season. Troy, is that ever a good goddamn plan when you have a franchise quarterback, a franchise receiver, and and coaches on the last year of their deal.
I mean, I think you got. I mean, one good thing you have with Micah and Trayvon. I think the new wave, the new leaders. Like, I think they're like they really see the picture of like what Dallas is as the market and how special it is to like be a player, like to be a Cowboy, right? So like you see Trayvon, I don't think he pressed the market. He just took a little bit off the top, you know. And I think if you have enough guys kind of take a little bit off the top here and there, then you can maybe. But the Joneses still won't do anything with that extra money, and that goes back to the organization. Like, you need perfect everything. You need that, like you say, that wizard, and that's not going to fall to you. So anything that could get any other team like just any type of progress, like we don't have that with this work, like this front office. We don't have that extra push. They just have their cookie cutter way of doing things, and everybody's going to be put in that situation, and there's no adjustment. They're not going to adjust to anything you need. But all right, Scott, man, I'll sit back and listen, dog.
All right, brother. Appreciate you, D-Shift. Talk to me, Troy. You probably got me on mute. Oh, T. Roy, he loves those guys. You coming in?
Huh?
There you go. Talk to me. Tell me why their plan is amazing.
So bad, Scott?
Because I'm sick of this front office, and I'm sick of these fans like you constantly putting the cape on for these bums, Troy. Stop it.
But listen, though, Scott.
Hold them to the fire.
When we have understanding, it gives us a clear view of where we're headed. You want to rush the process and be like microwave. You want to be in the microwave world, man. We're not in the microwave world.
Hold on, mute you real quick. Do y'all hear this, mother? He said, I want to rush the process. It's been 30 years. It's been 30 years. And we got fans coming on here talking about rushing the process. We got fans talking about patience and process.
The coordinator we got now, the team.
Bro, you've been muted. You've been muted. You're unmuted, so start over. Start over.
What we didn't realize about the offense was
Troy, you've been muted. Start over.
All
right, man. I'm done. I don't know why I let this loud minority do this to me, but this is goofy. Ori, there is no helping those people. What did I tell you earlier on this show, bro? There are people who are just going to be stuck. No matter what and the people that have been here for years know I provide tons of research and tons of study into a lot of things, into how this league moves and why this Cowboys organization is not doing the necessary championship things. I've put the work in. I've earned the right to call out this goofiness because I'm not just speaking out of my ass here. Not that you needed a whole lot to see that the Cowboys are not moving correctly. But then call into this show and say, I just want a microwave. I'm not patient enough. How much patience do you want until you see radical changes? 30 freaking fracking years. And I'm supposed to just, you know what? Let's trust the process. Let's trust these fools. You out your, it's about to be February. You out your rabbit ass mind. Y'all know the other one I was finna say. You're right. He might be a victim. What's the term? When the victim, Stockholm Syndrome. Yeah. Stockholm Syndrome. Troy, don't call in here with that mess about patience, man. 972, what it is, what it do.
You there?
Oh, hold on, 972. Hold on real quick, because I know Boss Cowboy going to talk me down. Boss Cowboy, talk me off the ledge, bro.
Nah, I mean, you fully in the right. I can't. You fully in the right. Like
No. Talk me off the ledge, bro. Tell me 30
I
years.
can't, bro.
Tell me we need another 30. Tell me I'm not patient
No,
enough. We
bro,
need another
it's
30.
no trust in this process. Your anger is justified. Everything is justified. That whole segment. Like, I'm just keeping it real. You know, that, you know, it's you know, it's, I think, because you tried to be fair. I watched the whole thing go down. You was not unfair at all. You know, so it's,
I just,
it's one of those.
I just want us to move like championship organizations, and I don't know how anybody that can defend this organization believes they're moving in that way. I don't know how.
Man, I think I realize kind of what it is sometimes when people like you are kind of giving the honest, ugly side, our fandom don't want to hear it because it hurts our hope. So we rather kind of put our head in the sand sometimes, and that makes people an enemy to reason. So I just stop looking at Sky as an enemy, especially when he's giving you facts. It's one of those things to where we just kind of got to swallow the medicine and get better. But if you ignore the medicine, we gonna stay the same. So it's what it is.
Yeah, because you're right. I'm not the enemy, but I will call out this incompetent ass front office, and in the same breath say, I bet this is what we need to do to do X, Y, Z and get better, given how we move. Because that's how I operate. Like, I understand we're not going to move a certain way. So now I'm going to try to present solutions given how the Cowboys move. I don't necessarily think it's the right way, but damn it, if we can just get a lightning in a bottle that specific year, let me try to present a specific player, coach, or what have you to kind of help us get closer to that lightning striking, right? That's kind of how I move.
Yeah, and you know, I think it's just gonna be the saying of being a content creator, because you can't solve problems unless you first talk about the problem. So some people's stomach get queasy when you got to talk about these problems, and they want to kind of ignore it. So just keep them doing the Lord's work, bro. I did want to talk about
what's really on your mind, boss? What's really on your mind?
Yeah. The Zimmer thing is kind of scary to me because I see a pattern.
It's scary to me too.
Yeah, and a very good observation by you on that. It's scary because it's a pattern to me, to where it might not even be Zimmer's age. It could be the fact that like these men take winning serious. So like if you Dan Quinn and you was lobbying for Bobby Wagner, it's nothing more frustrating than being almost there and then little dumb stuff stops you. You know, so it's like, so you lobbying for Bobby Wagner, front office tell you no for LVE. You want up out of here. Like, so just like the former safety coach, I can't remember his name.
Joe Witt.
Joe Witt. Yeah, Joe Witt. He said his dream job was to be the Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator. But then the opportunity came, he didn't even interview for it.
No, so check this out. They interviewed him, and then they took Dan Quinn over him. But Dan Quinn brought him on his staff, though. They did interview him.
Yeah, but I'm talking about by the time he left, and Dan Quinn was the Washington Commanders coach, he still was available, and he said, I'm going with Quinn.
I'm going with Quinn to be an actual DC, yeah.
To be a DC when you wrote, it was your dream job to be a Dallas's D coordinator. So that always made me say, what does it say about the culture when you get your opportunity to get your dream job and you say, nah, I ain't doing it. You know, and then we starting to kind of see this with Zimmer. So the thing I'm going to be looking for, let's say Zimmer walks away from Dallas. If Zimmer walks from Dallas and take another job, that's going to speak so many volumes, bro, on the culture.
That's different. I didn't even think about that. I thought he'd just walk away. Now, if he walks away and takes another job, I think what you're saying is a slam dunk. And we already know the culture is already weird, but that would be a huge indictment on either this current staff or obviously the Joneses.
Yeah, man. So it's scary what you're saying, but I also want to credit you on the solution. Because see, that's we presented the problem, but I love how you circle back around and said Paul Gunter could be your temporary or permanent solution. He has his defensive coordinator job. He had it before at the Bengals. Did a great job over there. We all love their defense. They was just as physical as they are over here. I just appreciated your show today because to me it was balanced, and you brought real quality. It wasn't no bullshit. And see, one of the main things that I love that you talked about, I'm also anti-Harris, and Harris from a merit deserve it, but I don't trust safety coaches or cornerback coaches to be D coordinators. I don't think they see it in the middle of the field enough, to be honest, you know? So it's your linebackers and your quarterbacks that's usually your better coaches because they see so much of the field and they got to know the whole game. So if you've been coaching up the linebackers, you likely going to have a very, very cerebral view of the entire thing versus corners. They used to call us brain dead, you know, like real talk, because we didn't have to think. Like every coverage is going to be the same whatever team you go to, man, 2-man, cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. You might play it different, but it's still the same, so you don't even have to think. So, I mean, man, but good show, man. I
appreciate it. No. Well, real quick before you go, I think there's been some defensive backs that have turned into solid defensive coordinators. I want to say, damn, it just slipped my mind. Damn, he used to be the Vikings head coach, but he was a DB coach turned defensive coordinator. I want to say, I mean, it's obviously, now I'm thinking about it, it's kind of old school guys. The head coach for the Bucs that won the Super Bowl, he was a DB coach turned DC that did. So I think Tomlin was a DB coach as well at one point. Yeah. But
good point.
You know, there's some, but I think if you're comparing Harris and you're comparing Gunter, I just think Gunter makes more sense for the Cowboys.
Especially because you
Fraser.
said
Thank you, Fraser.
That was the key word.
Aaron Glenn's another one.
Continuity. And because I like the ideal of trying to keep as much as possible the
Tony
same.
Dungy,
you know. But good show, bro. Real good show. And
appreciate
just
bro.
Keep doing Lord's work, bro. Good
Salute.
job. All right,
good stuff there, boss. I need the boss to calm me down, but guess what? I'm about to get ready to hype back up again because Troy. Nah, I'm just playing. Troy, you know I'm going to lean into the bit. Troy said, and these are the Troy, you lucky you part of this thing because these are the type of fans I actually hate. I actually hate these type of fans. But because we've talked, I know you mean well. But I hate when y'all do this. Two things here. Oh, y'all stay mad. First of all, what are we supposed to be jolly and happy? The Cowboys are 7-8 this year, missing the playoffs and going on year 29, 30, whatever it is. Nah, ain't nobody happy, dog. We keeping it real, number one. Okay? Now, I'm not saying I'm sitting angry and letting it affect nothing. No, I mean, a lot of this is the bit or whatever, but what do you want me to do here? Wave pom-poms and be say, hey, we ain't patient and I got to be patient 30 more years? No. Number two, I hate fans that say, keep that same energy when we start winning. Let me be nice. Troy, that's whack. That's whack. Because what you're saying is fans should never call out the BS. Fans should never criticize a player, coach, or organization. Fans should always be living in la-la land and not be realistic or real about what is happening. That's whack. Don't be cheering when we start winning. Yeah, you act like a lot of these fans or me are on here rooting against them to win. Well, some of them are rooting against the dub because they want the draft pick, but are openly rooting for the Cowboys to fail year in and year out. There are some fans who want to do that because of a specific player. Oh yeah, they are not shy about that at all. They would love for this team to lose with said player. But I'm not here to highlight the anger, to clickbait you guys with anger or anything like that. Troy, we have not been good this year, so it hasn't been a lot of great things to talk about. It hasn't. We've talked about some good things. We talk about the bad things. That's what we do, bruh. But if you want us to sit here and live in Skittles and rainbows and la la land, come on, man. You know you at the wrong spot, bro. We keep it funky here. And sometimes, like boss said, that's gonna be tough to hear. Especially if you're 10 toes down on the front office. Oh, whoa, that's really going to be tough to hear. Oh, it's going to be tough. But don't do that, bruh. Don't say keep the same energy when we winning. Don't do that. I always say this to fans like that. I understand your anger. I understand it. Now, there are some fans who just want to be miserable. And if you just want to be miserable, then we ain't going to be able to jive in that sense. But we all want the same thing here. Nobody wants to be stuck in this. We all want to win. We all want to be happy winning. Some don't like when we win with a specific player, but don't do that, bro. I think that's corny. I think that's whack. My bad, Mark. What's up?
Hey, man. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I got you, bro. I got you.
Okay. To give you a little leeway. So growing up, we had 20 consecutive winning seasons under Tom Landry.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had some down years in the 80s. Jerry bought the team. Jimmy was going to be the GM, going to be ahead of everything. We won 3 Super Bowls. Jimmy said, fuck this, I'm done with Jerry. Moved on. I'm 53 years old. We haven't won a Super Bowl since I was 23 years old. That's 30 fucking years. And people are calling on here, let's be patient. Got to be patient. It's 30 fucking years of crap. Yeah, we go to the playoffs every now and then. Do we win in the playoffs? No. Why? Because we have fans, hey, we made it to the playoffs.
Don't blame it on the fans, but yeah, we haven't had success.
Then we have, Jerry and fucking Dumb and Dumber, him and his son, who they're just happy, bringing in millions of dollars. They don't care. They don't care about winning Super Bowls anymore. Anyways, I'm out. That's all I got to say.
All right, my brother.
Bye.
Toxic Tom. Good morning, sir. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and all that good stuff, man. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Sky. Happy holidays to everyone here. The last caller just reminded me of my uncle who's drunk on the couch. He's like, man. Fuck this. This shit just sucks. All right, I'm out of here. Not to pick on the caller. Made me laugh.
Troy just committed the ultimate. Troy, you act like a goddamn casual fan of just, it's been 30 years, so find a new team, crybaby. That if that's not the most casual, elementary response to frustrated fans calling out the team that I that you could possibly say. Find a new team because I'm criticizing them when they deserve criticism. Corny. Cornball behavior, and I'm not surprised.
Don't get VIP mad, Troy. He's gonna go rent a car and find you too. No, I'm kidding. I want to put that into the internet.
No. Listen, I think Troy's takes are awful, but I'm not. We ain't trying to have we ain't trying to pull up on him now. Let's relax.
Yeah. I think the thing that I would say is the most frustrating about this entire thing is it's not the fact that we haven't been relevant in 30 years. It's that you haven't even been close. Like, not even close.
We're supposed to be happy. We're supposed to be happy, bro. We're supposed to be happy about that, though. We can never criticize.
And I think the thing that I hate the most even more is the missed opportunities along the way. There were some teams that if the Cowboys had had a competent coach, were active on the trade deadline, did stuff in free agency, I definitely think it increased our odds to actually do it. And the thing that frustrates me the most about this front office is it's fucking lazy and they gaslight the living shit out of its fans. I can deal with if I got pocket aces and I go into a hand and I think, hey, I have a chance at a flush, I'm going to go heavy, and I miss out. I can live with it knowing that.
Exactly. I live or lose with pocket aces, bro.
Yeah, I can live with that rather than, I have pocket aces, but I'm going to fold because I just can't tolerate. I just can't have any risk tolerance involved with it. That is
bro,
the part.
They don't even get that. They try to make a move with 7 deuce.
Oh,
that's what they doing.
And like, I just don't get it. And like, even last year, for instance, I'll be really specific. You went into training camp last year. You lost to Marvion Overshone right out the gate, tore his ACL. And you were rolling with a guy that was 1 hit away to being Walter White Jr. in LVE, like with a bad neck. And what did the front office do, knowing that this was going to be an issue all damn season long? Absolutely fucking nothing. And then what happened in the playoffs when you're relying on a safety and you got Ozempic Mozzie and DTs that are the size of teenagers? You got ran the ball down your throat. Your linebackers look like shit. And it looked like, dude, any competent general manager would have had the foresight to see, hey, we have a legit good squad. We're the number 2 freaking seed. Put your fucking nuts on the line and let's make a run at this. If they had lost that game and the front office did its job, I can live with that. I can't live with you acting like that you're all broke, you can't make any moves, and then all of a sudden, oh, well, we gave it our all. No, you fucking didn't. You haven't been giving it your all for 30 years. And Brian Broaddus, he made an excellent point. And if you all aren't listening to Votch with Brian Broaddus, you're missing out. Because Brian Broaddus said when Jerry Jones bought the team, he was hungry. Jerry Jones needed to win because he needed to make this team profitable. Younger Jerry was a better general manager than we have right now. It's just, when you are a Hall of Famer, you have multiple Super Bowls, you're a billionaire, do you really want to wake up at 5 a.m. to go watch tape? Hell no. Hell no. I want to do the fun stuff. And, I can't blame them on that regard, but I can blame them for not recognizing you are not helping this team. You are not putting us in the best position to succeed. And Troy, I'm not here to attack you, man. All I will say is, you should take this time that the Cowboys aren't in the playoffs and go look at the teams that are in the playoffs right now and go see how they were built and go see how the groundwork was laid years in advance. And go look at the Commanders. The Commanders are right next to us. The Commanders aren't good just because they, quote, drafted Jaden Daniels. They, the year prior, hired a general manager and have been changing the culture ever since. They are trying to change the way that they build teams. It's about processes. And if your processes are dog shit, yeah, you might get lucky and draft a Micah Parsons. But if your processes are not sound, it opens you up to more exposure and more risk. And then when you miss fucking hard. And that is why, Votch was talking about this, about the draft and tanking. I don't want to just hope that we get a good spot and a guy falls to us. If we end up with the 15th pick, I want our front office to go, okay, this is what we have. How the fuck do we get better? And moving heaven and earth to try to get it rather than just letting it fall into our laps. That is the problem. You need foresight, you need leadership, and you need a culture that cultivates leadership. You don't have any of that. It is just, there is no plan. The plan is, I hope it works out. And hope is not a fucking plan. Clearly, it's not a plan.
Come on, man.
That's it. Hope ain't a fucking plan.
That's definitely. And you know what, Troy? You're right. They got a plan. It's hope. We hope.
Yeah.
We hope nobody's sitting in our seats when we get to that damn concert. We hope. They don't live by the wish creed. They live by the hope creed. You're right, Troy. I'm wrong. They got a plan. It's the hope plan. And hope ain't no damn plan. I love it.
And the last thing I'll say is, and I've said this in the past, I feel really bad for a lot of younger fans because the younger fans are the ones that walk into work and go, oh, how about them Cowboys? And they're getting the blunt. This is all they know. And it makes me so fucking sad that the standards have dropped this far, that we are at the point where that the Panthers are fleecing us in trades. That's where we are right now. And it makes me so sad that there's no light at the end of the tunnel. We're in a damn mine. Younger fans, you deserve so much better. And it is true that this team used to be different. This team used to be cutting edge. But that's what happens sometimes when people have success. All they want to do is live in the fucking past. If I don't speak to you all, though, have a happy new year, except if your last name is Jones. Get fucked.
Well, Merry Christmas to you, too. Toxic Tom, ladies and gentlemen, with his infamous toxic take. And let me turn a little bit the page a little bit to our guy Jay Tuck. It's not going to be as toxic as Tom, but I definitely want to hear from our guy. What's up with you, Jay Tuck?
Yeah, man. Hey, first and foremost,
sorry, you gotta follow that up, bro. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas,
man. I can't follow up Toxic Tom, man. Toxic, he don't really exist, man. But I agree with the last two callers, and this has kind of been something I've been trying to explain to my communities, that I feel like the Cowboys fans, we have been molded to accept mediocrity, right? Because what's happening right now, Sky, is like, okay, we're winning a few games. We put a little scratch on Joe Burrow, right? We went out there and beat Tampa Bay, which is cool, right? I get it. I love that this team is fighting and they're finishing. But I'm not going to sit back and forget what happened versus Houston. I'm not going to sit back and forget what happened versus Atlanta. I'm not going to forget what happened for the Ravens, Detroit, the 49ers, the Saints, the Eagles. So I feel like what's happening right now is that since we're kind of living in the moment, they're trying to sweep a lot of our issues under the rug. And some Cowboys fans are buying it. I mean, I saw people saying, hey, we don't need to be active in free agency right now because we have a good core, and all we have to do is get healthy and bring some of those guys back with Mike McCarthy and run it. And so, it's already starting to set the foundation for next year. And this is why, personally, I'm getting frustrated, because it's giving Jerry out. He's going to be able to use the injury bug. He's going to be able to bring Mike McCarthy back and say this team fights for Mike McCarthy. And we will be sitting back here on your channel, my channel, so many different channels saying this offense don't look right. The spacing is bad. It's the same old cycle. And I feel like Cowboys fans are getting frustrated. And what I'm also trying to preach, Sky, is the talent gap in the NFC – it's drastically shut on our hand, right? We used to have kind of the upper hand, right? We had Micah and we had CeeDee and we had, the best quarterback in the NFC East, and that can kind of carry us a little bit. That's no longer. I mean, if the Giants mess around and get a Cam Ward, which they probably will, or Shador, they're going to be a talented team. They already have the foundation. So for me personally,
and they're notoriously not scared to be aggressive. They will get aggressive.
They're not scared to be aggressive. They're not. So you have Green Bay, you have Commanders, like someone just spoke about. You have Minnesota, like you have all
the
these
NFC is
teams.
very competitive. That's true.
Right, it's competitive, right? So we can't just rest on our laurels in Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and feel like that's going to get us to the promised land. And I know there's been this whole civil war about team tank and team win. For me personally, as bad as this season has been, we have had nothing to celebrate since the Green Bay loss, besides that one day versus the Browns when we signed Dak and we beat Cleveland, right? But we have nothing to be excited about. I don't want another utility futuristic draft pick where it's like, okay, this guy's going to be good the next 2-3 years. I want a guy where you look at him, it's a slam dunk, it's going to be instant impact, right? CeeDee Lamb, we knew, right? Micah Parsons, we knew. Ezekiel Elliott, we knew. Tyler Guyton, me and Sky kind of told y'all, hey.
Yeah, we knew that wasn't going to be no instant impact there, yeah.
And so I don't want another one of those drafts, right? I want a draft we can close the talent gap, because you're seeing all these teams be aggressive. They're going after it. You see what Philadelphia is doing. I mean,
can I run this?
Even if you look at the Commander.
Can I run this thought by you? Because you're a draft guy, and eventually, I don't normally start drafting until after the season. And I know, like you said, there's a huge discourse on Team Tank, on what have you. I've come, and I've said this for months, and you probably heard me say it on my show. For me, I don't care if they got the 5th pick or the 15th pick. I think what they do before the draft is the most important. And I think when it comes to the coach, off-season free agency and trades, and then the draft ranks 3rd of importance, in my opinion. Because I don't believe that you can or should rely on a rookie to be a hump guy. Right. And, I don't look, you may find a Micah Parsons every once in a while where he is kind of a hump player. Right. But that doesn't happen often. So just throwing this out there, and I'm not trying to diminish the draft at all, even if they don't do anything in the offseason. I feel like it's more important for them to get the coaching hire right, and then what they do in the offseason in regards to free agency or trades. I feel like those two things are more important, because if they attack it the same way, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't believe whoever you pick in the first round is enough to cover up all of the issues. And then obviously when you start getting the 2nd and 3rd and 4th round picks, you can't rely on those dudes to be the hump guys. You just can't.
Right. Right, and I 1,000% agree with you, Sky. Like, I hate that we have to be Team Tank, right, and have these conversations, but this is the only way Cowboys fans have been trained to know that we're going to get some help. Like, you know, we can do off-season content and line up all the free agents that's available that we should go get. We have seen year after year where it's like they don't be active in the first opportunity for free agency. They want to wait till we damn near get to Oxnard before they start bringing in players. So for me personally, this is why I don't do a lot of, you know, free agency content. I've done it. It's like going to the store. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day with your mom, it's like you go to the store, don't ask for nothing, you're not getting nothing, right? So it's like for me, I think the draft is the only way.
My free agency content mines have shifted. It's Catboy criteria. That's what I've done over the last 4 seasons. It's not the big names, because we know we're not going there. But usually I bring in the Catboy criteria guys, the low level guys. So I try to inform fans on those types. But last year I was even shocked that they wouldn't even touch the Catboy criteria guys. It was that bad, bro. It was that bad.
And I feel with the amount of in-house guys that we have to re-sign, that's going to be the priority, right? The re-signs will probably be the priority. I don't think they're going to be active early in free agency, even though Mike had kind of said it. I just don't see that being the case. So if there's going to be players that can get us over the hump, you know, we need another 2020 where you get CeeDee Lamb and turn around and get Trayvon. Like, you need that type of splash, right? But it's kind of hard to do because they're going to sit back and wait for the chips to fall, right? You look at past year's draft, right? They had their eyes on Graham Barton, but they let Graham Barton get swiped and go to Tampa Bay, right? And you have Brian Thomas, who's, you know, one of the top wide receivers. You sit back and let him get sniped, right? So then you have to trade back. You know, so it's like, it's just the complacency and the mindset with this team. I think this is what's frustrating a lot of fans, like the earlier caller says. Like, there's no sense of urgency. It's like, oh, they're good.
And Tom, you know, that's because they can't get fired. The people that are making the decisions can't get fired. That's why he can say, oh, man, trust the process, be patient, because he's stuck in their mentality. He's stuck in the Joneses mentality. Oh, wait, man, we just got to be patient and hang around the rim, and eventually it'll go in. You guys can feel that way because they have no pressure. They can be wrong in back-to-back type drafts. They can strike out in free agency or not even participate because who's firing me? Meanwhile, the pressure then gets shifted to Mike and the players, and we're all sitting here like, hey, man, y'all got to overcome them. And that's what I say, and that's true. And when they don't, it's all their fault. No, it's not. In reality, it's not. And that's why I'm always looking for somebody that can overcome that situation. So, you know, it's tough. He was put in a tough situation. That is Mike McCarthy. I completely understand that, no doubt about it. But I also don't think he's a guy that can get us over the hump dealing with what he has to deal with. And no, it's just not me that thinks that. Almost everybody with common sense knows. Former players have spoken to this, that when you come into this building, you're already in an uphill battle because of the guys that run this thing. Right,
1,000%. You have no leverage, right? All of us have jobs. You know, we're micromanaged. There's no creativity. Our input really doesn't matter. Like, there's so many different factors that not only Mike McCarthy but our players have to deal with to get to where we're trying to go. And I think that's what a lot of Cowboys fans don't want to accept. Like the gentleman that spoke earlier, right? It's just like it's been 30 years. The culture is fractured, right? That it's like if you have bad kids at school, you can blame the kids, but eventually we got to look at the parents. What is going on in the home? Yeah. And when you look at the Cowboys culture, there's just so many things that's fractured. You know, the mentality, and Jerry Jones echoed it on it. It's bigger than football. So when you have an owner saying it's bigger than football, then what's the mentality? Because no matter what, there's going to be people in the building. 365 days a year. Yeah. It's just like that. Like, why can't the main thing just be football? I don't understand it. They stripping away our culture, and I've always talking about this, the little things. We don't have a chant. We don't have a fight song. We have no environment. We have no type of culture at AT&T Stadium. Everyone's sitting on third down. Like, those little things matter. You know, those little things matter, and I don't know how to fix it, y'all. You know what I'm saying? We just spent, 5-6 years doing this content, bro. Like, I just feel like we're going to be here next year saying, all right, you know, we just, you know, we're a good team, right? We have to accept who we really are. We're a good team, but we're not a championship contender, and we're far from it. We are far from it, to be honest with y'all.
Couldn't have said it better, brother. My thoughts going into this year was the same thing. I think this is a double-digit win team, but I've learned that we have a pattern. How are we playing towards the end of the season will tell me a lot about how we will play in the season. And I was hoping we'd be able to do that this year. It's not possible. So now we got to start this thing over. And again, depending what they do, because I do think there's a lot of positions that they have to attack. Some of these guys aren't returning. I still think at the end of the day, we'll probably end up being a competitive team. I don't know about double-digit. We'll have to see. But usually when Dak is healthy, we are a double-digit win team. And I'll be saying the same thing, bro. Unless they get a different culture, then things change. How are we playing with this coach, with this staff, with this front office, with these kind of bottom barrel players? How are we playing going into it? Are we getting hot? Can we get on a run? And that will determine it. But I'm hoping, and again, I have to say this, I'm hoping that there is something they do differently this offseason that gives us a little bit more oomph heading into the offseason, and then we can go into this season with a different type of swagger. But right now,
I felt like we were close getting that, Sky, with the way the season was going, but now they kind of got their out. You know what I'm saying? They kind of got their out to kind of go back and say, you know what, well, we was right there, and, you know, you think about it, Dak wasn't got her. You know, like they're going to give us that whole spin this off season, and it's just frustrating that, you know.
So I'm seeing, so Troy's, his thing here is, well, we'll have to hire new coaches and new systems and new players. Like it's going to take time and all this stuff. I mean, that's true, but let's not act like we haven't seen first year coaches take over talented teams or sometimes not talented teams and have success. Right? Like I mean, that's also possible too. Especially if you are of belief that this team is not devoid of talent and they move differently in the offseason and hire a better coach and get a couple guys. I don't think it's out of the question that this team can remain competitive, if not better.
Right.
So, you know, I've seen first year
It's not like
coaches
if we
have
go to
success,
hire a Ben Johnson, we're now a 3-win team. That's not going to happen, right? So yeah, it's just like it doesn't have to be a full teardown.
No,
but you get new philosophies. You get new. I mean, look like going from Dan Quinn to Coach Zimmer. Like
didn't Matt LaFleur do the same thing in Green Bay? Didn't he?
In Green Bay.
Yeah, it didn't take him long.
Right. It doesn't take long. You know?
He won 13-3 his very first year, and he had an all-pro quarterback.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, and again, that's not just him. Other coaches have done it too.
And what's giving the indication, Scott, that we're even remotely close? Do you think that right now we are built to go on the road and beat Philadelphia, turn around, beat San Fran, and then go on the road and beat Detroit? Hell no. We're not there yet.
No,
and we have to start being realistic.
I said this before, and this is coming from a guy who respects all these gentlemen, but if the thought process is Jerry Jones as my general manager / Stephen Jones, right? Mike McCarthy as my head coach / play caller, and Dak Prescott as my quarterback, I don't think that trio can do what you just said. No.
Right.
No.
Right.
You're going to have to do, and Nick Wright made a fantastic point. He was like, usually when you have failures, and you can 12-5, you can say that's not a failure, but I mean playoff failures for as long as you have and have had that particular group, you usually make a change at general manager, head coach, and or quarterback. Sometimes all three, sometimes two of the three. Well, in Dallas, you're not doing that at general manager ever. You're not doing that at quarterback. So he was saying about how the coach has to be the only option that you have, and I agree. But if they don't and they run it back, I don't know what confidence you could possibly have that this group can go in the playoffs and do what you just said. I have not seen them have the ability to do that. So I don't have the confidence. I would rather try with a different combination, and we know the two combinations aren't happening. Quarterback and general manager aren't changing.
Right. And think about this, guy. Who has been held accountable from what happened last year since Green Bay? Nobody. I mean, Dan Quinn could have returned if he wanted to, right? There has been no firing. There has been no significant cuts.
A great point.
There has been no significant changes. And even throughout the course of the season. Only person who's been held accountable was Zeke for one game versus Atlanta. That was it. There's been no accountability for at all. You know, it's just like, it's just crazy to me. You know, at least someone should have got on the chopping block just to make a statement. But everyone got to return, come back. Everything feels the same, and it's just that same old complacency. So it's hard. It's hard because if you look at our schedule next year, y'all, it's cutthroat. You know, like we got the Pat Mahomes. You get everybody anything you can ask for. They're going to have to change their mentality, but we'll see what happens. So,
hey, brother, appreciate the call. Coming in with
I appreciate my guy, man.
Man, of course, brother. Hey, look, make sure y'all follow J Tuck, especially right now. Draft season coming around, or is here, I guess, you know, for the Cowboys. And there's a handful, and Tuck is in that handful that you should be watching, bro. We'll wrap too. I got to rap to you about some things, by the way. Also, shouts out to your the new venture with Dez. That looks amazing. I don't know exactly.
I really appreciate it.
Like the specifics, but I do know that you guys got a lot of big things coming up, and I think it's pretty awesome that you're doing that with him.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thanks again, bro. Like, for believing me from the start, man. So it's crazy where we at right now, man. But yeah, hit me off the rib, and we'll talk, man. So y'all have a good one, Cowboys Nation. Yeah, we're gonna figure this thing out together, man. All right, Cowboys Nation.
Salute. J Tuck, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I hear you, Troy. Growth takes time. Brother, we've been growing for 30 years. That's what I mean. I've watched how many coordinators or coaches over the years come in and it didn't take them 5 years. Now, I get it. Certain quarterbacks and coaches, it take Sean Payton, year 3, I think. Year three or 4, one of the two. Obviously, we know about Chucky. First year wins the Super Bowl. Hell, I watched John Fox get the Panthers to the damn Super Bowl pretty quickly. Matt LaFleur, he hasn't gone to the Super Bowl, though. 2 NFC Championship games back-to-back. Right away. Then, boom. Has to get rid of his quarterback because he's a weirdo. They weren't connecting, and now look at them. They're sitting here at 11-4, beat the Cowboys last year, and they look like a contender in the NFC. Took a few years with Kyle in San Francisco, but year 3, boom, they in the Super Bowl. Didn't Dan Quinn go like his second year? Boom, in the Super Bowl. Hell. Now, Bill Belichick, I mean, he won the Super Bowl after a couple seasons. So it's not out of the equation that you can hire a young coach, a new coach, and it doesn't take 6 years. We don't gotta be patient, you know? Now, granted, and this is where a lot of people will say, yeah, but those organizations have front offices, and that goes back to the point. You're going to need those guys to buck up, do some things a little differently. Sean McVay, like right away. Dog, y'all know what he did with the Rams? That was a laughingstock organization. Jeff Fisher was the Jason Garrett. Worse. They were talking about, bruh, a bust. Gets there immediately, and he has an amazing year. They go to the NFC Championship or whatever. The next year, Super Bowl. Or whatever. You know what I mean? We got, you know, when I hear this who's better type, who's better than McCarthy? Like, if you're talking about there's not many coaches out there that have coached for 25 years. It's not. Yeah, Zach Taylor. Pete Carroll. I mean, the list goes on and on. There have been franchises that have changed their coach, and it didn't take them 7 years or whatever it is, the patience we got to have with that coach. How much more patience, man? I don't know. How much more patience? Is Mr. Duce Falco, you a Rams fan? He said, I'm glad McVay is our coach. I think McVay is a good coach. I mean, he gets criticized or whatever, but I remember a couple years ago, maybe Troy, you were one of these people, but there were people telling me they would rather have been the Cowboys than the Eagles and the Rams. And I don't mean like taking the rivalries but the success, right? And the trajectory. And I'm just sitting here like, are y'all okay? Are you okay? Because there's no way you could really mean that. You would rather be the Cowboys than what the Rams and the Eagles have done over the last decade. That's Stockholm Syndrome, man. Nick Sirianni has a good point too, Tuck. But see, again, that goes back to the thing, because I don't think Nick Sirianni but that goes back to the front office, in my opinion. That's why I loaf the Eagles, but I will never in my mind say that Howie is worse off than our front office. He's not. He may be wrong on some things, but he ain't scared to be wrong. And that's all I love that. Because when he hit, oh boy, he hit. Took two totally different cultures and coaches and teams to the Super Bowl. Won one, obviously lost one. Not hearing that, man. Let's get this last one up in here. 757, good morning. $757, you live?
Oh yeah, hey Scott.
Yes, sir.
Scott, this is Marcus from Japan.
My guy from Japan, man. How you doing, bro? What time is it over there?
It's like 2:17, 2:20.
In the morning?
Yeah, man, in the morning. Next one.
That's why Cowboys. It's not Cowboys Nation. It's Cowboys Global. So it's 12:28 over there.
No, it's 2:16, 2:17.
No. I mean, is it December 28th in Japan?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. But shouts out to you, Marcus. What's on your mind?
Hey, look, man. I just wanted to let you know. I haven't been calling, but I've been listening to you.
I appreciate it.
And y'all, hey, look, you fire, son. You straight fire.
Thank you, brother.
And it's hard. It's hard to call in because, you know, I'm working, and then, you know, you doing your thing, and it is what it is.
Yeah, don't worry about it, man. I mean, there's other ways to support the show without calling in, but whenever you do, I definitely appreciate it, because I know it's tough. You got to watch at 2 a.m. That's rough. So thank you.
Well. It's a Friday. You know, I got off. I'm coming back in from the club, and you know, I turned the TV on. I'm like, oh, Scott Live. Okay.
Yeah. I went live a little longer today. It's Friday, like you said, so I'm kicking back, and I'm in super OT. We in like triple overtime right now.
Hey man, yo, I'm sorry, but
he
but I
calling
want
from the future. He calling for the future is fire. I like that.
Still, my man. Hey, look, but look. So you know, y'all was talking about the coaches, Mike McCarthy, and you know, I feel you. Hey, look, what I love about you, man, is that the way that you can decipher what them cats talk about in the media, and you break it down, and it's just like, oh, is that what they mean? And I'm just like, okay. But look, man, so I know I'm not feeling McCarthy like that either.
All right.
But he's a good coach. But the way you ingest y'all cats like that
we're over
the offensive coordinator, the way the way they call plays and all of that stuff. When you talking about dribbling with a purpose.
Yes.
McCarthy, he sometimes he dribbles with a purpose, but he'll get away from it. And you know,
I wouldn't consider him Slick Rick, right? I don't think he's a storyteller. I don't think he sets up things a lot throughout the game. I don't think that's it. I think this is the West Coast. This is what we do, whatever. Because and I think a lot of it is because I don't think he marries the run game to the pass game. Now, of late,
Right.
he's run the ball a lot better. Obviously, most teams when they have a backup quarterback, they're going to lean on the run more and things like that. And the Cowboys have had success, but I don't think it's in his DNA, and that's my issue. I don't think balance is in his DNA, and I don't think he has a legitimate run scheme that's in his DNA that is married or is partnered with the run. I'm sorry, with the pass game. Thus, that's why we kind of get this scattered brain McCarthy sometimes. And I don't look. I had hope that given a full offseason, he would take a lot of the things that the Cowboys were successful with in the previous season and add on to it. That wasn't the case to start the year, and that drove my frustration to a level that it hasn't been in a long time. And a lot of that kind of continued most of the season, right? So if he had a whole offseason to do it last year, do I have confidence he's going to do it again? I don't, to be honest with you. But all I can do is have the hope, right? Is hope that he does do these things and he improves as a play caller and they add guys to help him and things like that. And there is a run game and there is a run plan, and it's not about a number and all of these things that I have issues with McCarthy. But I do think he's coming back. I do think, clearly, at one point I definitely thought he lost the locker room, and I still a little bit think, it's not what McCarthy is saying that's sticking with these guys. It's McCarthy's status that's sticking with these guys.
Right.
So if he returns, you'll probably, again, like I said, you'll have a team that's a grown-up team. You have a team that, knows how McCarthy moves and operates. There shouldn't be any issues with that. And I think they'll compete and they'll kind of probably repeat the cycle of being a team that competes. And if they get into the playoffs, I have not seen McCarthy all the way back to the Green Bay Packers get his guys ready, prepare, and coming out firing on all cylinders for 6 consecutive playoff games, all the way dating back to the Green Bay Packers. So he'd have to prove to me that he can be that guy in the playoffs. Same thing with Dak too, by the way.
Yeah. All right, so I got you.
Hold on real quick. Let me address Troy one more time. He said, man, he got Dakota. What you talking about balance? That is exactly the problem if Mike McCarthy is thinking like that. He got Dakota. What you mean about balance? Troy, you better than this, man. You've been around for my show. Again, I don't just come on here and just talk nonsense. I've provided statistical evidence. I provided film. I provided everything possible to show you that it is important to be a balanced team in the playoffs. It's important, and the Cowboys have not. And when they were, definitely under Jason Garrett, in those few years they won a couple playoff games, what do you know? Things helped. But you cannot possibly continue to go into the playoffs saying, forget about balance, we got Dak Prescott. And then when you run into teams that are able to just a little bit make things difficult for your pass game, and you have no insurance, no balance, nothing to lean on, what do you think is going to happen, Troy? What do you think is going to happen, brother? You need balance in the playoffs. That's just facts. It's facts. You cannot go into the playoffs and be one-dimensional.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Scott. You got to be balanced. Totally.
Yeah, my bad for hijacking. But in closing, my man Marcus from Japan. In closing.
Hey, look. All I just want to say, man, is just, yo, man, I'm coming. I'm a season ticket holder. I'm gonna be in Dallas for one of the games next year, and I'm gonna hit you and Jesse up. Hey, look, man. So here's in closing. When Cowboys Nation says, hey, look, stop buying the tickets and all of that stuff. When you're a season ticket holder, you can't stop buying the tickets. I've been locked in buying for the tickets for 30 years. So I got 16 more years. 16 more years to buying these tickets. And look, every year I have to buy the tickets. I can't say I'm not buying tickets. I'm over here in Japan. I
I would never
first.
tell somebody not to go and enjoy an NFL game, man. I'm not going to fight nobody that says, hey, stop watching, stop buying merch, stop going to the game. So if that's how you feel, that's fine. But if you are truly a diehard fan of the team and of the sport, I don't see anything wrong with supporting the team, but also at the same time saying, F the Joneses. I'm not supporting them. I support the players. I support the team I like before the Joneses, right? Like, why? If you are, especially if you're an old school fan, right? A fan that has liked the Cowboys before they even bought the team, that's kind of messed up to tell you all of a sudden to stop supporting the team that you liked before the Joneses, right? I get you wanting to continue to ride with your squad. That's all I know how. And you can say, well, Sky, you're part of the problem. Yeah. I guess I am. I will never stop watching. I would never, you know what I'm saying? Stop supporting these players, or these coaches or whatever. But I call it toxic, call it a problem, call it what you want. It's just not in me to not do it. I don't know any other way to voice my frustration than to voice it that way. And if you say, hey, if you stop buying and stop going, that'll get to the Joneses, you might be right. No. I don't know, but I just know it's not in me to do that, man.
No, bro. Hey, bro. I love this team. I'm just saying, man. I'm locked in. I'm locked in for the next. I've been locked in all my life, yo. I mean, you look. The team chose me, and wherever they're going, I'm going with them. I just want to. I just want them to win, yo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's facts.
Look, Scott. I just want to let you know, man. Hey, look, I love what you do, man.
Thank you,
y'all. You are amazing, just as amazing. I mean, keep doing what you're doing, bro.
Thank you, my brother.
Hey, look, and look. I know. It seems like I've been away for a while. It's just hard. It's hard to get with y'all, man. And yo, man, keep doing what you're doing, bro.
My guy, bro. Appreciate you. Hey, one more question. How much sake was you drinking out there, bro?
Hey, man, I've been. Hey, look. I've been. We drinking highballs out here, man.
Oh, okay. I don't know what they got out there, bro. I know you turn it up out there. I feel you, big dog.
Hey, man. I just came home. I'm turned. Look, I'm turned up, right?
I
I'm turned up. All right.
I already know it. Appreciate you, Marcus.
All right, peace.
Peace, man. All right, man. Appreciate the love from Marcus all the way in Japan. Imagine, man, you come home from 2 a.m. and the Cowboy content creator is on, a Cowboy show at 2 a.m. We ain't on 2 a.m. in the Americas. That's crazy. That's kind of dope. That's kind of dope. What did he say he was drinking? What they drink over there? I know Marcus said he don't be in the chat. What's it called? Aztec? Curran Ichiban beer? Yeah, I had this conversation with y'all. I can't turn it off. Man. Do y'all really think that's do y'all think that's the solution though before I leave? Hey, you ain't lying. Do y'all think that's the solution? I hear that all the time. A lot of casual fans usually say that. And if you believe that, I'm not calling you casual, but yeah. Is that the solution? Is the solution stop supporting the team and Jerry will sell it or things will change? I'm not here to pretend I have all the answers. I'm here to give you my opinion on what I think should be done under the current circumstances. The one thing I think will help turn everything around is something that we know isn't happening. So I ask, is the solution to stop supporting and then things will change? I'm not really seeing that being the case, but hey, man, y'all might be right. Favorite Japanese beers? Okay. Hitachino. Wow, ale? What? I don't know what that is, man. Special K said warm sake will get you there faster than anything in the U.S. That's why I asked him. I said, man, you on that sake over there? G-Dub said the solution is support the team, but boo Jerry from start to finish every game. Fire Jerry chance every game. Well, let me tell you, man, Jerry Jones is a superstar. When I was at camp out in California, man, it was lining up to get Jerry's autograph and things like that. Whole time, I didn't want Jerry's autograph. I wanted to talk to him. And I told y'all this story for those that was around. I tried to get an interview with Jerry Jones off the record, but I wasn't even going to record. I wanted to have a legitimate conversation with him, man. And I asked his right-hand man. It wasn't even his right-hand man. It was his handler guy at the time. His handler guy was like, I don't know, man. He's over here with this. Nah, we can't do it. Then I ran into his right-hand man. And he was on some sake or something when I ran into him. Oh, yeah, man, I got you, man. Did I say, hey, he ain't really got me. But, hey, you said you got me. But he's a superstar, man. They love Jerry, man. It's more, so 100,000 seats at the stadium. I bet you probably 80,000 of them love Jerry Jones and will never boo Jerry Jones and will never hold him accountable. You know what I mean? JL said I'd be banned for life if I talk to Jerry. Nah, I was prepared though. I was prepared to that, but as soon as the guy was like, "Nah, I don't think we're gonna be," I bet I ain't gonna sit here and fight you. Let me keep it moving. Let me go talk to people I can talk to. This was a good one. Probably the longest one we've done all year. That's because it's the holidays. It's a Friday. Me and Jesse back at Canvas Sports and Social this week. Shouts out to Specs, by the way. And two more of these left for the season. They did move the game from 3:25 or what have you to 12 noon. A noon game here, Central, 1 Eastern. So that's a good thing. And we'll see if the Cowboys can play spoiler. I think it's going to be tough. I think this is going to be a tough one. But like last week was a Mike Zimmer game, I think this one is a Mike McCarthy game. Not having CeeDee Lamb going up against Vic Fangio, a guy who's had his number. I guess 0-2. I wouldn't call. Yeah, 0-3 really. No, 0-2. The last 2 games he's lost to Vic Fangio as an offensive play caller. But I ain't blaming the offense in Miami. Not doing it. They drove down, got the game, go ahead touchdown, and defense gonna give it up. But this is a game where we'll see if Cooper Rush can exercise his Vic Fangio demons. Right? And I think it's going to be a Mike McCarthy game. No Lamb. He's going to have to get everybody involved. Rico Dowdle. Somebody said Rico was 97 away from 1,000. This is a big moment for Rico if he can hit that thou, right? For him going into free agency. Be a big one. Maybe some supers on the way. I appreciate y'all for sticking around in this long show. $27 today. We got a couple of them, man. Shouts out to my guy Matt.
Super chat.
Appreciate Matt dropping what? 5? Dropping 5 and saying good show, man. Shouts out to J. Lou right here. Shouts out to J. Lou. He keeps being consistent. Got club seats at the last minute for the Bucks game. Shouts out to you, bro. So you missed me on that game. See y'all Sunday. Hey, you getting club seats, my boy. You take them. But yeah, if you see us out, plus we weren't there anyway. We was at the crib. But if you do see me out there, let's wrap because I want to talk to you about some wrestling stuff, man. I know you be at all the PLEs and stuff, or at least the Manias. So definitely hit me up. But yeah, J. Lou. J. Lou is one of those guys. We're going to do a show on the offseason when the season's over about guys who we're going to run it back with. I think J. Lou is priority. If he ain't number 1, he up there. Still them boys dropped at 5 and a deuce. The 5, he said, with 2 games left in the season, Ferg has less than 500 and no tutties. What are we doing? That when the season's said and done, that is something that we're going to look back and say that is one of the most disappointing things. Now I get it. He missed 3 or 4 games or whatever it was, but I don't believe Ferg was utilized as a weapon in this thing. It was more, unfortunately, like a cog in a machine. And that's something that is very disappointing because I think Ferg is better than that. I think a lot of people are going to sour on him. I'm not. I'm still holding firm on my Jake Ferguson stock. But I know some people will sour on him, and we'll welcome those debates when they get here. But very disappointing season for my guy, Jake Ferguson, no doubt about it. Still them boys with the 2 said, Jerry Jones, my subject clip is still relevant. Hey, Troy, he talking to you.
Our subjects.
I ain't talking to Troy. Oh, man. G-Dub dropped 2 and said Zimmer as head coach and Young OC is the best we'll get. I don't know, G-Dub. Listening to Mike Zimmer, if you missed that running back, I'm not sure Mike has it in him next year. We'll see, right? Like he said it. They asked him, hey, man, you want to run this thing back? We'll see. Let's get to the end of the year, and we'll see what happens. Didn't sound like he's a guy and he talked about how it was difficult. It's been a hard year for him. After being off, he's almost 70 years old. He's a pop, you know what I mean, type thing. I don't know, G-Dub. Little concern. Now, if he, like Boss said, if he dips up out of here to a different team, that's very telling about what's happening here in Dallas. But if you tell me, open up a can of worms here. If you tell me Mike Zimmer and then a Wizard at offensive coordinator, we might have a conversation because I wasn't really trying to think about that, but we'll see what the Cowboys do. I still think it's going to be Mike McCarthy, man. And we'll be putting our full support behind him. You know? We will. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and press this button. And before I do press the button, like somebody said in this chat, Philly. Shouts out to TC915 and dropping the deuce in the chat. Usually I will press, I'll press this button.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
But I'm going to press this button on the way out. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, Cowboys Nation. We'll be back for New Year's, by the way, so we'll have a New Year's show. We won't be on New Year's, but appreciate y'all for rocking with me through the holidays. I'll see y'all on Sunday. Me and Jesse Holly. I'm out of here. Peace. Love you.
It was December 24th on Hollis Ave at the dark when I seen a man chilling with his dog at the park. I approached him very slowly with my heart full of fear. Looked at his dog, oh my God, a ill reindeer. By then I was yelling cause the man had a beard and a bag full of goodies, 12 o'clock at night. So I turned my head a second and the man was gone. But he must have dropped his wallet back dead on the lawn. I picked the wallet up and then I took a pause. Took out the lights and then it cold said Santa Claus. $1 million in it cold, hundreds of G's. Enough to buy a phone magic car with ease. But I never steal for Santa, cause that ain't right. So I was going home to mail it back to him that night. But when I got home I bugged, cause under the tree was a letter from Santa and the door was for me. It's Christmas time in Hollis, Queens. Mom's cooking chicken and collard greens, rice and stuffing, macaroni and cheese, and Santa put gifts under Christmas trees. Decorate the house with lights at night. Snow's on the ground, Snow White so bright.